Oh, yeah. We're back. I gotta say, boys, I love hanging out and all, but it feels like we just did this like 2 days ago. I gotta be honest. This 2 week turnaround has really, really thrown me off. But nonetheless, we're here. We're fired up. We're here to talk about one of Bob's favourite Patriots. Very exciting night ahead. I am slightly concerned about some of the references that will be made across the next two hours and change. But today is actually officially LNG's 5th birthday. We're celebrating tomorrow. But today is our 5th birthday. And what better way to celebrate than discussing legitimately among the least discussed iconic wrestlers on our platform ever, I think. I don't know how often Sarge thought it was actually come up earnestly on our platform. Tonight we fix that. It's Grin, Grappler, your favourite quartet. Bobby, how are you, mate?
I'm doing well. It's also Sergeant Slaughter's birthday today, so
It is.
look at that.
Is that the first time we've actually done that? And it was completely by accident, but it's always the birthday month. Well, that's the goal anyway. But we actually got the birthday. It's the first time I feel like. I don't recall us doing it. Yeah, not sure, but very exciting times. I'm sure he's watching out there. Happy birthday, Contrarian Alex. How you doing, brother?
Good. Happy birthday, Bob Remus, not Two Shoes.
Yep.
Yeah, it does feel like a pretty quick turnaround, but we pulled it off. We talked about, due to some things I had going on, we had to reschedule the Barons episode, and we pulled this off. So never a bad evening when I'm back with the Grin Grappler 4. So excited to be here. Excited to talk about the matchups that we have ahead of us, and but I try my best to be restrained tonight, Joe. I'll be at ease in honor of Bob Remus here.
Something to monitor throughout the night. Oracle, how are you?
I'm well.
Good.
Let it be known that I actually am a native of South Carolina. I was born in Charleston, South Carolina. I moved from there at 7, but continued to visit there for many, many years afterwards. In fact, I will be there in less than in just a little over a week for a bachelor party.
Right.
The person we're talking about is allegedly from Parris Island, South Carolina. One of the all-time greats in the ring, though, in all seriousness. Incredible wrestler. And honestly, we have got some classics that we're going to talk about tonight.
Yes.
And there's other classics that are missing in our I mean, like, this guy, legitimately, I think he's a top 10 worker in stateside in the 80s.
And that's high praise.
Yeah.
High praise out the gate there from Lord Oracle. Tremendous stuff. Okay.
He's the guy who got a good match out of Warrior that no one gives praise to. Everyone always.
Rumble?
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It ain't great, but it's
Tokyo
good.
Dome too.
Oh yeah, we've talked about that on here before. The match where Warrior decides to do a Bruiser Brody tribute and then gasses out, and it's like, all right, grab a hold, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. We've got a lot to discuss, folks. We hope you're all well on this beautiful Thursday night. A birthday occasion for both Sarge and Late Night Grim. Please do like the stream, all that good stuff. We also want to stress there is a link in the chat to the new Grin Grappler Bingo game, which evolves each month. My understanding is there's a whole plethora of new categories and such. So get yourself a bingo card, file in, and get involved. So this let's get rolling, boys. No time to waste. We have a heavyweight to discuss here this evening. We need to map out our fandom when it comes to Sergeant Slaughter, which I legitimately, I joked about earlier, but I don't know when he's come up at all in the 5 years of Late Night Grin. Bob has made some posts about him, but seldom about his wrestling career. Bob, if you became a Sergeant Slaughter fan, when did that happen?
I did like him, in 2002, 2003, when he would just show up and honor, the sanctity of America. That was a big thing early in the 2000s to do. So, yeah, I mean, I was a fan of that. He was in Here Comes the Pain, so he was kind of fun to use sometimes. But as far as being a fan, aside from liking the couple, one-offs, Sergeant Slaughter's here, I wouldn't say, I ever really became a fan. I saw the bulk of these matches in the past year or so, and that kind
Yeah.
of a little bit more to him because I had never seen the earlier stuff, like anything before 1990, whatever. And he was quite good, like Oracle alluded to.
Yes.
Like we'll get into. So I'm glad I got to do that. I do want to see a little bit more now after doing this. But yeah, I mean, it's really been an interesting journey seeing him basically at his worst, and then some stuff that wasn't very good in the early 90s, and then to see that he was actually quite good for quite some time.
Yeah. I love that Oracle said he was one of the 10 greatest US works of the 80s, and you said he was quite good, as Oracle alluded to. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, it works. I was thinking about this earlier. I chuckled when Bob said it. I do think I'm pretty confident my first exposure to SGT was the Mania 17 Gimmick Battle Royal. I'm almost certain of this. That was the one wrestling. My dad now likes wrestling, but when he was years prior, when my brothers loved wrestling, he thought it was terrible. And the one match he liked was the Gimmick Battle Royal. And so you can't watch the Gimmick Battle Royal without becoming accustomed, acquainted with SGT, brother. I mean, there's all the lore with him and Sheik too, and all that good stuff. So I think that's legitimately where my awareness starts. I also remember being kind of fascinated by his time as he's the commissioner, but he also is this just looming figure, isn't he? Like he just will pop up regularly and kind of separate guys or control things. So that would be where I became aware. It is only this decade that I have gotten an understanding of his stature beforehand. I also think it's something we're going to have to discuss here. The Iraqi sympathizer era absolutely dominates the way he's discussed in modern wrestling conversation, and that is a hilarious thing to wrestle with based on the matches we watched in this program. But nonetheless, Alex, what about you, mate? When would you say you became a Sarge fan?
Yeah, like my memory of when it started being a wrestling fan, I've told on here before, the WrestleMania 7 VHS I wore out as a youngling. So my initial memories, when we did the Piper episode, I was talking about, as insane as it sounds, I always envisioned Roddy Piper as the Intercontinental Champion because that's my first memory of him. And with Slaughter, yeah, I just envisioned the Iraqi sympathizer. And then obviously in the decades that followed, became aware of his just kind of presence in the world of wrestling and just in pop culture in general. I think something that we'll probably talk about at some point in time, one of the more recognizable faces in pro wrestling, especially in the United States from just a pop culture perspective, with obviously the G.I. Joe tie-in and him kind of controlling his own character and likeness and stuff, and so he could kind of go and just do product placement shit as SGT Slaughter. Yes. And which obviously got him on the outs with Vince for a little while. But anyway, I remember too, as a kid, he was a bad guy and then he was immediately a good guy again. That heel turn lasts less than a year, if I remember correctly.
I want my country back.
Yeah. Saddam Hussein. And it has only been within the last 15 to 20 years that I've really become aware of what Oracle has already claimed him to be, this great worker and this bumping machine, and getting an insight to his previous work before he was the Sergeant Slaughter camo, the thing we all see in our head. But yeah. But as a kid, I remember Iraqi sympathizer, and I do remember the commissioner. I remember he took a stunner on his head. Do you remember he takes that stunner from Austin and then he lands vertically on the top of his head?
I need to see this. I don't know if I've seen this.
Well, when we get to the third act, we'll talk a little bit more about Commissioner Slaughter, but yeah, similarly, Gimmick Battle Royal, my father also, I remember him popping huge as someone who spent extensive time in Dallas in the early 80s when he heard Bad Street USA. I just remember my dad going, yeah, in the living room. And so Slots has been around forever. And like Bob mentioned, he's popped up here and there. And, I think on the last Spike TV Raw, they had him come out to chant USA because they couldn't say USA on air, because that's where they were going the next week on television. And so he's and then of course, his fall from grace in 2020, which, he was brought down to size when the expose was put out there. And it's just been complete disgrace for Bob since then. But we're here to discuss the better times.
Bob didn't put that over at all when you said that, but I was waiting for a big explosion. There wasn't one. All right, fair enough. Lord Oracle, you seem to be most well versed in terms of the artistic stylings of Sarge. When would you become aware? And I have a feeling we're going to take a few familiar paths in the process here. Is that fair? Is that fair to
say? I would say my initial understanding and introduction to Sarge is very similar to Bobby's.
Yeah.
Where he was just a producer agent or a legend that would come out and fight off La Resistance or whoever the fuck. Yeah, it wasn't really until, dare I say, the Smarks Choice 2008 poll that I started to realize how great of a worker he was. But honestly, because that's probably around the time I saw the Sheik. Although I saw the Sheik match years and years. Probably saw the Iron Sheik match. I feel like I saw that match right when we first got 24/7, which would have been 2005 or 2006.
Yeah.
So I saw that match 20 years ago.
Because that is a canonized kind of classic, and
yes,
it's
and the match that I remember really sort of introducing me was around the same time, because I think the tape was released on Classics or something happened, which was the match we do not have on here, but is a must-see, the Crockett tag. Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernodle versus Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood in the cage. That is one of the most famous matches of the 80s, one of the great matches of the 80s, one of the great matches of all time. That match was like a holy grail, right? And I remember when it came to light, and I watched it with my brother, and this was probably around the same time, 2005, 2006. Maybe a year or so later, sometime in that time frame. And then you started to kind of, hear the stuff about the G.I. Joe stuff and all that, over time. And it was, I watched a lot of 80s WWF in college, and then have recently watched a lot of 80s WWF, quite a bit of 80s WWF, to be quite honest with you. I also saw the AWA stuff and all the hype stuff there. And I can tell you, and this, and I'll stand by it, might have the best 10 to 15 matches that you'll ever see from the 80s from one guy.
Yeah.
Stateside, it's remarkable. His resume is incredible, actually. And we'll tackle some of those matches tonight. But absolutely one of the 10 best wrestlers stateside in the 80s.
Yeah.
Incredible face, incredible heel. We get both sides of that there, here tonight, and just
incredible chin as well.
Amazing wrestler.
Yeah. Yep.
And just legitimately one of the all-time greats. One of my oddly, I mean, I know I haven't brought him up much, but he is honestly one of my all-time favorites. Yeah, Final Conflict. I was looking for the nickname they gave the tag, the
which was the show inspired Starcade, right? What March of what year is that? March of '83.
83. Yeah.
Yeah, March, I think it is, somewhere in there. But yeah, it's an interesting one. It's I absolutely believe that. It's just, Oracle, you get what I'm saying, right? It's kind of, Sarge is he's, some guys are condensed to their greatest work. I think Sarge gradually has been condensed to American hero that had to turn heel in the name of a WrestleMania flop, and that's really unfair to his work before that.
I can't stress enough And even the Desert Storm match, which is I think
Yeah.
a '90s WWF classic.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy has. I'm thinking right now, 2, 3. I mean, he's got 10, 12 matches from the '80s that are as good as anything in the entire world. And we'll get to it, but the Iron Sheik matches. I mean, that's
piece of history. No
that's
doubt.
one of the 5 best matches I've ever seen.
Yeah. A classic, no doubt. We have a lot to discuss. Clearly, some heavy hitters ahead of us. Hope you're all well, folks. Dragon sent a super chat and said that 3-match stretch at the beginning of this lineup is fucking insane, especially the boot camp match. Top 5 match in company history for me. There you go, you guys on similar pages.
I think that's in the history of the Fed still, personally.
Yeah. Insane piece of business. Thank you, Dragon. Hope you're well. Riley sent a super chat and spent the last week watching Sergeant Slaughter tags against Sheik and Volkov. And my God, those are some great matches. Still need to watch the boot camp match, but I've become a fan of Sergeant and the Sheik Volkov team. Oracle, you saw this chat before we went live and was putting it over strong. This is a cosign on your part, right?
Yeah. I'll bring those up again, but I'll go ahead and say them now. October 13th, 84, Sergeant JYD versus Sheik and Volkov. Amazing match, bloodbath. It's either Sheik. Well, I think it's Sergeant JYD. I think these are both Sergeant JYD. There's another one with Sergeant Andre maybe that I'm thinking of, but I think they're both Sergeant JYD. And then November 10th, 84, which is a Texas Tornado tag, is the same 4 guys, Sergeant JYD versus Sheik and Volkov. Is also pretty fucking awesome. So, and I'll bring him up when we discuss that too as well again. But
thank you, Riley. Hope you're well. Rye here it is. Rye sent a party hat with 20 jewels. So indeed, happy birthday to the Sarge and the Grin. All right, so let's get started here. He's another guy. It's insane, dude. He's another guy that was in one of those Vern camps.
Mm-hmm.
There's lore that did you see the A&E doc about him by chance? Any of you see this? They made a few years ago.
I know they made one, but I never saw it.
Bob, do you remember there's the bit where there's lore that he beat the fuck out of Billy Robinson?
Yeah.
Was that just an A&E original?
I've never really heard that anywhere else, but it's a cool story, I guess.
You always hear the stories about Billy Robinson like messing with students. Apparently, just beat him up. That was what I want to say. It was Mrs. Slaughter claimed. I could be wrong. I should have rewatched it, but that was some lore that I remember vividly. Initially, Sarge was beautiful Bobby Remus, which he actually had considerable success, and he also did the Super Destroyer Mark II run too.
He was good at Super Destroyer.
Yeah,
he was good at Super Destroyer.
But I think it's and I guess in an ideal world would have represented some of that stuff. But I do think, lineup wise, it speaks to what resonated. That it's all Sarge, right? There's none of that stuff beforehand, which speaks to kind of how impactful that transformation was. The story goes that like he got the photos of the new gimmick to Pat, right, and Pat got them to Vince, and away he went. The WWF run, he's such a huge part of WWF's history. And obviously there's the gap in the middle with the Crockett stuff we'll talk about. But initially, it's as an antagonist, right? And our first 2 matches are within, 6 weeks of each other? Like it's a tiny time span in which he's the lead antagonist and this kind of hilarious... I think it's a Jackie Gleason picture is where he took it from. But he's a caricature, a stereotype, right? And we start with him opposite Bob Backlund, and the Patterson match is very different. But we get Act 1 is just all about his work as lead antagonist in New York. And man, his ability to be menacing but also utterly cowardly is just historic. Let's talk about March 21st, 1981, cage match in Philly with Bob Backlund. Man, there's a lot of conversation nowadays about escape the cage and all that good stuff. Bobby, this feels like a great example of how powerful and valuable that stip can be in the right hands. This is a very dramatic piece of business, isn't it?
It is, yeah, because you have Sergeant Slaughter trying to escape the cage at basically any turn, like you see from a heel, but like some of the spots that Backlund does to keep him in, like just laying on the mat and just grabbing his ankle so he can't go anywhere. That's not something you see in a ton of these, and it really does work here. You got the couple spots with the door where Backlund hits him, and then Slaughter almost just like falls out at the end. That's almost the end of the match. Like, just really good stuff. Just a really good use of stipulation. I like that every time he whips him into the cage, it looks like the cage is going to just blow out.
Yeah.
And then there's a really nice part of this match where Backlund just gets tired of him, just starts punching him and throwing him into the cage for like 5 minutes. It rules.
It has that classic WWF finish of the babyface just being like, "I've done my damage," right? Boy, has that too. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, and just all that, and really the thing that stuck with me through the whole thing, it's a great match, but the people are losing their mind the entire time.
Dude.
In a way that we see in the Sheik match a little bit, but definitely not that we see, anymore.
They are shrieking in response to this match. It is actually obscene, to be honest. You really can't even put words on it. It's that insane. Like, you can, because it's emotion and it isn't chanting. It's like, please God, don't let Sergeant Slaughter get out of this cage.
Yeah.
It's
awesome.
Absolutely glorious, glorious stuff. And they push a hell of a pace too. Alex, I'm intrigued what you made of this, and I have to say, it features, I would argue, maybe the damnedest pole driver in Grin Grappler history. It's got to be up there. You are muted, I must note. But...
We're live, pal.
What did you make of our cage match?
Yes, I do have pile driver exclamation point, all caps in my notes. The pile driver Bobby Backlund hits here. To our Bob's point, we got so many Bobs we're dealing with this evening.
Yeah.
But the OG Bob, he had mentioned people going crazy. I understand business did a downturn, and whoever was going to be the heir apparent to Bruno was going to be in shoes that couldn't be filled. But we've watched some of the stuff, and Bob Backlund's someone, as I've gotten older, I've had an interest in going back and rewatching his matches. People still really liked him. Like, people bought into him, and like, it's so funny because he's such a howdy doody motherfucker. But like, you see some of those women in the front row, just like, screaming, slipping out of their chairs for fucking Bob Backlund in there. Like, so it's obviously what made some of his heel work later, which I know it didn't draw any money, Dave, but I thought it was cool. But like, you see him here, he's just so good guy, which leads to like, I literally like said, fuck yeah. The part in the match where he's like, fuck this, and hits Sarge in the dick. He hits that like thunderous low blow on him because he's like, if he's going to play this way, that's how I'm going to play. I thought that was so fucking great. I'm jumping all over the place, but this match is like, to your point of Slots' cowardice, the bell rings. He like leaps trying to get out of the cage. Like, that's the first thing he wants to do. And the story of the match, at least the way I interpret it, is he talked himself into this situation, but now he knows he's screwed because Backlund's just going to beat the shit out of him when they're in there.
Yeah.
And that's, for the most part, what happens, and it's great. Bobby called out that sequence where Backlund's just throwing him into the cage over and over again. And yeah, the pile driver was great. Backlund, when fucking Slaughter's on his knees bleeding, some of those punches Backlund's landing, like, just, that is like the essence of the art for me. He's even doing like the shaking out his hand and then going back to it, and just and we're going to talk about some great working punches in our next match as well. But I thought it was very funny here. This match starts, and it somehow got tied back to, in our final match, the Gomer thing. Obviously the Andy Griffith character they call. There's a sign someone has in the crowd that says Sergeant Gomer is a geek, and I could just hear Bob O'Neill saying "got his ass" when I saw that sign in the crowd. But yeah, they're chanting Gomer, and they're all over him, and it's a much different Slaughter performance than we're going to see in the next match here, in terms of he's a bad guy in both of them, but here he's just such a fucking pussy, just trying to get away from the fight that Backlund's bringing to him, and thoroughly enjoyed this match. As I mentioned just a minute ago, Bob Backlund has been a later in life epiphany or revelation, for me, as far as a worker goes. I really enjoy going back and seeing like his intense babyface stuff, the heel stuff, and even like his UWFI stuff. So anything I can do to add to that. I knew there was like several matches between the two of them that are very celebrated and highly thought of. So I'm really glad we got to do one of these on here. But yeah, fantastic. And Slaughter, he may be one of the more underrated gig guys, wouldn't you say, Oracle? In terms of someone who's
Oh my god, dude!
yeah.
All 4 of these matches that he bleeds in are just. I mean, he's bleeding.
He's
bleeding in this thing.
He's pretty good with the subtlety too, because he's not fucking Captain Lou doing this shit in the middle of the ring.
It's the alley fight, I think, but I think he's the guy who, like, the first guy that notably did the slingshot spot where he would blade before this. You know, like Sean did in the cell match.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, where he's blading on the ground and then he.
I think that's like a Sarge original.
Oh,
I think.
We'll talk about that when we get to the match next, but I forgot about the cell. I thought Sean also did that at WrestleMania 20 in the main event. He goes down and same thing comes up, just fucking like, ripped apart. We'll circle back in just a minute. But great match. Backlund is just jacked, and it's not often, especially in that era of wrestling, you saw dudes as jacked as Backlund was with the like full head of hair. So you can see why Vince Sr. was like, hey, this is my guy. All right. So yeah, good shit.
Yeah. It's also not fair when people they'll watch like a Backlund promo and be like, well, he would be terrible at doing a 10-minute promo on Raw live in the ring. It's like, it wasn't really the model, it wasn't, you didn't like sort of do skits backstage with a guest GM,
People who loved him because Bob Backlund. Hello, Jeremy Piven. I hear you have a new movie coming out.
It's more, honestly, it's more comparable to, like, if you look at combat sports and how there are some fighters that they're not the biggest personalities, but the public loves them because they're theirs. That's more in line with the way that wrestlers were promoted then. It wasn't the way it is now.
Yeah, before he went insane, that was like Ken Shamrock's whole deal. He was like very soft spoken. But anyway, yeah, it's when you come up through the age of the internet and stuff, your brain sometimes gets clouded, because Bob Backlund being champion, one most disgusting, promotional tactic and like, most overrated and shit. But yeah, there were people that loved him. It's just no one in that scenario was going to live up to, the previous regime of Bruno.
Yeah, I'm not honestly super well versed in or knowledgeable about his run on top, to be honest. I've just seen certain matches. This would probably be chief among them. Oracle, this is insane, dude. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
What a match.
Oh, yeah. It's not every day you get to see Opie versus Gomer, right? In a bloodbath.
Every day. Oh, definitely not. Not today.
but yeah, this match is fucking amazing. Sarge, I love the like little things, like he goes for a fucking wild swing and punches the cage, which is awesome. I love the like camera work, the close up of like him just like holding on desperately to the cage door and the bars, just trying to get out.
Dude,
and Backlund's just not letting him.
It's honestly cinematic.
Oh, absolutely! It's incredible.
Yes.
It's incredible. And talk about cinematic. Let's wait till we talk about the Sheik boot camp match.
Yeah,
the most beautiful cinematic match ever in terms of filming.
To
But
your point, Oracle, that part where Slots is almost out the door, and his head is like parallel with the cage, and Backlund just rams it into it. And then, I'm sorry to cut you off. You guys reminded me of that because then it goes to that shot of Slaughter's fingers holding on to the cage as he's getting peeled away from it.
It's amazing. Shit. And then, of course, you get that final. I mean, Slots, like you guys pointed out, I mean, he's bleeding everywhere. Just a wicked blade job. Get that face rake that Backlund gives him towards the finish. Is just brutal. And the pop it gets, and he's already a Crimson Mask, and he gives him the face rake on the cage, and of course Sarge takes a crazy upside down bump at the end, and it's just, man, the crowd, man, Philly is just losing their fucking minds. Classic match, one of the upper tier WWF matches of the 80s, probably a top 20 or 30 WWF match of the 80s, or at least maybe in that discussion.
Love the Spectrum logo on the mat, by the way. I always pop for that. It's great. Yeah.
Is this the best cage match we've done on Grin Grappler? What are the contenders? I was mulling this over earlier. I'm trying to know what the contenders are.
Well, I mean, do we count War Games '94?
See, that's where you get this
Ooh, there you
complicated
go.
matters.
See, that's where it does get. We also did we do War Games 92 on here?
We
We
must
did
have.
92 and
Yeah.
94 both, did we not?
If we were to take the double ring out of the equation,
Okay, double ring out. What
Dude,
other
we were to
games
say-
have we done?
that's what I'm saying. I was
Besides
mulling
War
this
Games, we've done
over.
like 3 or 4 War Games matches.
I was mulling this over early, and I was really trying to think about it. I was thinking, what war games have we done? And I was thinking, it can't be one that's better than this because I feel like I'd remember it. You know? I'm not sure.
Hmm.
We
Yeah, I'm
we
trying-
have to have done some, dude.
Didn't we do like we did Gail Kim and Awesome Kong, right? I'm just thinking of like cage matches now.
Was that a cage match?
No, we did something way funnier. You've just got it. We did a Gail Kim cage match, brother. We did Gail Kim and Maddie Rain. That's what we did. That may be the only other one we've ever done.
Oh my god!
Oh.
I don't
there
know,
you go.
Bob. Do you remember any other one-on-one cage matches in Grin Grappler
We
history?
did do Azure Bowl, didn't we? Or was it a cage?
I wasn't here for the Brett episode, but I think you guys did Brett Owen. But this is better. Than that.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh wow. High drama in Philly, nonetheless. Awesome deal. Just a smidge better than that Gal Madison match. Excellent stuff. Yeah, that
Who's
was
to
Gold
say?
Grappler. Yeah, the Bornicon, I think, was a different show. Right, nonetheless, very different vibe. A lot of similar. It was pointed out by earlier when we were discussing the Backlund match here a moment ago. A lot of similar elements to our next match, but I do think Sarge works it in a distinctly different fashion because of the opponent. May 4th, 81, the alley fight. Pat Patterson at MSG. So, Bob Backlund's the top babyface. By contrast, Pat Patterson is, from what I remember of reading about this angle, because this was something that I saw a few years back, the idea of this was that Pat was already doing announcing, right? And like,
Mhm.
Sarge called him Yeller or something, right? Didn't he call him a coward or something? I can't remember that.
Yeah,
It
he
was
was-
Bob.
He was doing like a Cobra Clutch challenge, and he wanted
Yeah.
Pat to do it, and Pat wouldn't do it, and kind
Right.
of goaded him into it.
So as a result of that, the cowardice we were talking about, is something that has to be kind of dragged out a little more, right? This isn't the immediate, oh my god, Bob Backlund's going to kick the shit out of me. This is 8-10 minutes in. Oh man, I've really bit off more than I can chew here with this situation. So before we even get to the boot camp match, which obviously is next and is amazing, this is actually my favorite of the 3 classics we lead with. This match is unbelievable. The I Love New York shirt always pops me. And obviously,
Looks like a truck driver running out there, dude.
look, it's been said a million times, platform retweets do not equal endorsements. However, Pat Patterson is
Oh,
unbelievable. And in this match, he is astonishing. The punches, the babyface flair and fire. Alex, this is, oh my God, what a wrestling match.
yeah. 2 quick anecdotes. I see it got called out. First of all, I remembered Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, MSG cage match is one that we covered on here. So add
There
that
you
to the list. Anyway, 2 quick anecdotes on this. I saw it was called out in the chat. This is on the vault, but it's all chopped up, and it's like they make it go black and white when there's blood in the shot. So it's fucking lame. But
Yeah.
it does have this extended introduction from Bob Remus on it, in which it, to this day, maintains that he got color the hard way in this match. He explains where he hit his head on the post, despite the fact that it is a masterful job, but still you can see him drop the blade in the ring when he falls. But I found
Okay, hold on. Let's park it there because this is going to be relevant with the stuff discussed earlier. How great is the like slightly altered working where you're not trying to get over wrestling as a shoot, but you're like protecting elements of it? I guess to like satisfy yourself. Like he's doing a preview of the match through the lens of like, you know, like, it was fake, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want to give you the whole lot. He just kind of goes, "But got me for real there." How great is that? That's just magical, isn't it?
that's such a talked about Jake Roberts last time out. He's one of those guys too. Act like it's all bullshit except this one thing. I really
Yeah.
broke my neck on that one. But yeah, it's credit to him. The other thing is, I was aware of this match at probably a younger age than a lot of my contemporaries or just like a wrestling fan goes. In 2000, I would have been like 13. In 2000, 2001, there was a WWF home video released, showcasing the hardcore division, because that was all the rage then, the 24/7 and whatnot. And there's a part in it where it's like interviewing the Peanut Gallery. What's your favorite hardcore match? And oh, good, Mick Foley and Triple H, that type of stuff. And then it cuts to the Fink. He's like, I'm gonna go back a little bit further. There was an alley fight between Sergeant Slaughter and Pat Patterson, and so then they show that match of that, and even the ADHD brain of a 13-year-old who's watched an hour and a half of these fucking Crash Holly matches, when I saw that, I was like, holy shit, because it was still like, you don't see that type of blood in wrestling often at all, like the way that Sarge is bleeding in this. So I remember seeing that at a young age, and so I always kind of held an affinity for it. And so growing up and realizing that it, was widely celebrated. This won Match of the Year in the Observer Awards, I believe, the year it happened. But this is unreal. I've given Pat Patterson, every time he comes up, his props, retweets are not equal endorsements, of the punches that guy threw. He might have the best working punch I've ever seen any pro wrestler ever have. And his performance in this match in particular, like his comeback and the way the crowd gets behind him, and he even does the tried and true babyface thing where he rustles his hair at one point, calls Sarge on, and the crowd gets so into it. My favorite part in this match is when Sarge busts out the fucking brass knuckles. The crowd's going fucking ape shit, trying to will Pat to his feet. When fucking Sarge hits him with it, dead silence. The place just goes quiet because they're like, fuck, he might lose. And the finish is great too, with Ernie Roth throwing the towel in and the crowd not quite knowing what to make of it. But the other side of the coin from the previous match we talked about, and I think this worked out perfectly for our first act in terms of showing what he was capable of as a heel on both sides of it. He looks like fucking Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13 at the end of this match, as opposed to just a fucking piece of shit who got his comeuppance, because he still wants to fight. But yeah, this is my knowledge of 80s Japanese wrestling is kind of spotty, so I'm always kind of weary of making claims the way Oracle can in terms of universal stuff. But this, for me, has to be one of the best, if not the best, pro wrestling match of the early 80s. I think this match is just fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen it, I think my three counterparts here are going to endorse it wholly as well, and so check it out for sure. But yeah, a great performance for both men.
Yep. Staggering stuff. Oracle, this is a special one, mate, in a trio of special ones here early. They're all great, right? But Pat definitely has his own flair in the same way Sheik, brings his own in the next match.
Yeah,
what did
man.
you make of
they
the
come
alley
out
fight?
here and Pat's out in the I Love New York shirt, and it's fucking awesome. And the crowd is just insane. And Sarge this is the blade job of all blade jobs by Sarge.
Yeah.
The close-up shots where it's dripping under his hand and just absolute insanity. The finish is all-time great, where he's bleeding all over the place like a stuck pig, and Pat just keeps wailing him with a boot, and Grand Wizard just throws the towel in. Just an all-time great finish. Amazing match. And they have another alley fight later in the year that's completely different than this one, and it's also amazing, just to point that out.
I need to see that.
Just a fucking kick-ass match. Probably a top 10 match of the WWF in the 80s for me. And would probably be a lot of people's number one contenders, and understandably so. Just an incredible fight. This is my kind of wrestling right here. These first three matches are what I want out of wrestling.
When putting our lineup together too, I don't know, because it didn't occur to me, but there's the through line of the boot is also excellent from this to our next match as well. And also Oracle, did you catch Vince when Pat comes out goes, "I love you, New York. Go get him, brother."
Yes, I did.
Schiavone an hour free of Dynamite. Go get him, brother. I love it. Tremendous. Bobby, is this your first time seeing this? What did you make of it, mate?
No, I saw it a couple months ago when they first put it on the vault.
The clipped up version? Yeah.
Yeah. It does rule, though. I mean, just kind of like Oracle and Alex said, just, the intensity of it and, just using the shirt and the belt and the boot, just what you have on you is just, they did a lot. They did a lot with what they had. And apparently, Kevin Nash, when he did his match with Samoa Joe at Turning Point 2008, used this match as an inspiration. Is what he said, but I've seen that match, and they're not very similar.
Okay. Where did this, is this a click this thing he said?
This is from Dave, so I don't know for sure, but at Turning Point, Nash put together the match with Joe. He apparently was using the 1981 Pat Patterson vs. Sergeant Slaughter alley fight in Madison Square Garden as the inspiration and framework of what he wanted, although I saw no similarity between the matches, as that match is a well-worth brawl with awesome heel selling and tons of blood.
Hang on. Stop the whole show. Okay. Turning Point 2008. So that is after
After he
Nash.
turned on Joe?
Yeah, where he turns on Joe at Bound for Glory. He works with him at Turning Point. So Nash was Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah.
And Joe was Pat Patterson.
Mm-hmm.
Try to figure out what part of it he could have possibly seen him replicating here. I mean, I think Kev has some fun matches in TNA, but he wasn't really a big bumper, He wasn't really.
I'd
imagine he bled a lot at least, right? Sure.
Yeah, I guess so.
That fucking bloodbath he had with Foley would be a better match to cite this as inspiration for.
I gotta be honest with you. I don't know if he needs to be. I don't know if he needs to be citing it. Oh, I gotta be real. I mean, now I gotta look at what.
I forgot Nash won that match too.
Of course he did.
Shit.
It's all about the chase. Where we got here? You know what? Hold on a second. Hold the phone. We may need to revisit this. A cage match 6.22 and a Wrestling Observer 3.5.
Yeah.
Maybe Kev said, fuck it. Slingshot me. All right.
Wait, what is this? Foley and Kev?
No, apparently Kevin Nash, when he had wrestled Samoa Joe at Turning Point 08, cited this as the inspiration.
Oh.
This is fair. I need to see. Okay, I'm adding this to my watch list. Hang on a second. All right. Nonetheless, you were saying, Bob, good on it, this match. Very good.
Yeah, no, it's very good. Great match. Glad we included it.
All right. Let's conclude Act 1 with the move to Crockett and stop before Crockett, and we'll do Act 2 as kind of all that stuff in the middle with Crockett, the return, AWL, that good stuff. So let's stop here. First, a New York run, Oracle, any match you want to call out, and any stuff from before Sergeant Slaughter.
I've got this. So, let me research this one. There's a Super Destroyer tag from AWA in 1980 or 81 that's pretty good. I think Greg Gagne is in it, so all our grinners will love that. So check that one out. I think there's a Greg versus Super Destroyer 2 match, singles match actually. That's actually really good.
Wow.
From WWF, let's see here. Backlund and Slaughter from Philly, January 10th, 81. Amazing match. And then the other alley fight, which is incredible, from Philly, August 1st, 1980.
I got to see that. I didn't know there was a famed rematch. I have to see that.
It's worked completely different. It's a totally different match.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. Tremendous stuff, boys. Any other, I know these are early ones. I know this is very much Oracle's domain, but any others want to shout out before we go to Crockett and back to New York and all that good stuff?
He did have a good match with Andre in the early 80s. I don't remember quite when, but I remember there being a match between he and Andre that I remember seeing once being good.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Boom. March 81. There you go.
Oh, thank you.
Fun. Yeah. It's a fun match.
Did Oracle, did him and Dusty cross paths at any point during this?
Wow. Now they would have drew some money.
They didn't. I don't think. I'm not certain. I actually don't know.
Because in Crockett, they'd be like ships in the night, basically, right? They'd basically.
Yeah. It depends on if he'd gone to Florida, I think, or something at this point during this period. Yeah, that's a great question. I'm actually not certain about that.
Dude, they would have drew a lot of money.
Oh yeah, they would.
Bloodbaths. Yeah, American Dream versus Hill Sarge. Yeah, Nonetheless, he's off to the Carolinas, and this is where we mentioned earlier, so we're just going to go back over it. But Final Conflict, March 83, inspired Starcade. There's the famous lore about the business that the match with Steamboat and Youngblood did, him and Kanoda, right? It's
where Greensboro had a traffic jam. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like a piece of wrestling history. And that was probably in our lineup the thing that was like the most significant part of his story that wasn't represented here, right? But worth noting, obviously. From what I recall, the cage match is a longer one. Am I right in saying this, Oracle? I saw it years ago, but I feel like it's like 30 plus. I feel like with Steamboat and Youngblood.
Final Conflict? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's very long, but it is one of the best matches of all time. One of the best matches of the '80s, so on and so forth.
The reason is because when we were working on the lineup, I think Oracle, you wanted to kind of get something that was a little more ordinary and step-wise, right? Because we had a cage already and all that stuff. But we have to highlight that before moving on. Ultimately, he returns to New York and is used as a babyface. And it's honestly one of the kind of lost parts of history, I think, is when people talk about the WWF's expansion and explosion, it wasn't Hogan and friends. They had that three-headed monster of Snooker, Slaughter, and Hogan as babyfaces. Snooker working with Piper, obviously, Slaughter working with Sheik, and Hogan as just sort of this roaming, touring Titan and world champion. Like, that was kind of their, their attack, right? Coming out there in 84 in that range, 85.
Oh yeah,
I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I was just going to say, Oracle, I think that it probably isn't quite appreciated, even as someone with very limited, grasp on history. I remember being fascinated by Sarge's fame and star power at this time was serious, wasn't it? I mean, he was a top guy.
Sarge was. Yeah. I mean, first of all, as you pointed out, to have that three-headed top faces, people always point to Austin, Rock, and Foley in '99.
Yeah.
After Rock turned face. But man, Hogan, Slots, and Snuka was an insane three-headed dragon.
One of them was insane for sure.
Yeah. Snuka Piper feud is incredible, by the way. Tons of great matches.
Yeah, because they were like Dragon mentioned in the chat, but these are the two personal issues. Because Hogan is more about just establishing him as the guy, more than a personal issue at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. These Snuka Piper and Slaughter Sheik are the two big blood feuds, and tell you, Slaughter was mid '80s Cold War, of its time, but man, that guy was over, real over.
Yeah, because I remember reading, there was a piece about it somewhere about there was a real case for him in like '84. There was a real case that he was the guy in the States. So you could argue if you wanted to, just in terms of being popular. And that brings us back to the Garden Boot Camp match, June 16th, 1984. Iron Sheik, Sergeant Slaughter. This was mentioned earlier by Oracle as the best match in company history, Oracle. Correct?
Still is for me. Still is the best match in the history of the company.
My goodness.
Indulge me for a moment. I'm going to read a review from a friend of mine. Actually, not my brother, but someone I won't name. From a message board in a hidden forum. But it is a great review, and I'd like to read it.
Please.
It's extremely entertaining. So here we go. I rewatched this again and went in like it was my first time seeing it. Nothing prepares you for this type of emotional roller coaster. Really, whatever set we are doing is just to say, let's see what number whatever through 175 looks like. Number one is reserved for all time. Sergeant Slaughter versus Iron Sheik Boot Camp match. Terry Daniels walking the flag to the ring sends chills up the spine. Sarge coming out and hitting Sheik with the helmet right away is an iconic moment. That should be plastered on every WWE video. He's got the riding crop, and he is whipping him with it. He isn't trying to hurt Sheik. He is trying to maim him. He's using the stick to the throat, to the face, smashing the helmet to Sheik's head. It made the garden erupt. In the number one and the best spot, he puts the helmet on and gives him a headbutt. Irish Whip reversal has Sarge take that nutty ass bump over the ring post and onto the floor. Fuck, that bump never gets old. Sheik is now trying to destroy Sarge. He rams Sarge into the ring post, slams him with a chair. He goes inside to grab a belt. He goes outside and gets a 2 count on the concrete. He unhooks the belt and whips Sarge like a mule. He chokes the shit out of him. He sees the riding crop and gives Sarge a receipt. Sheik is flung to the outside so Sarge could save himself. This allowed Slaughter to grab the belt. Fuck! Sheik stops Sarge cold with a big boot. Sarge punches him in the throat. These guys are beat. Sheik going over the top rope sends the crowd into a frenzy. Backbreaker and a 1 count. Sheik loads the boot and Sarge blocks the boot shot twice. Sheik bites Sarge's head and Sarge rammed his head into the steel post. Sheik hates the USA. He hates the Sarge. He spits at him. He kicks his head in. Blood gushing out of Sarge. Sheik bites at the cut. Sarge has blood smeared on his head, his back, his arm. He is such a fucking mess. And still goes for a nutty ring post bump. Sheik gets nailed in the ribs to give Sarge a breather. Sarge kicking Sheik in the head from the second rope was wild. Sheik is now a bloody mess. I can't comprehend the violence of this. How important this match is to the USA when we were proud to be American, where at least we know we were free. Sarge can't just punch him. He needs to wind it up because this Sheik is everything wrong with the world. Sarge wanted the cannon, but Sheik kicks him in the fucking nuts. Iran number 1. USA Pooey. 2 count. Suplex. I fuck your ass. 2 count. Sheik unlaces his boot. I will destroy you. Fuck your American boycotts and embargoes and xenophobia. G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Slaughter cannon! Sarge has Sheik's boot. Iran's nuclear stockpile and the Berlin Wall in his hands. He kills the enemy dead. Rambo, Force of Freedom. The STI program ain't got shit on Sergeant Slaughter. Say no to drugs. Born in the USA. Fortunate son. Fuck. No other match will be greater than this match ever.
Fuck. Wow. It took directions I didn't expect. It's quite extraordinary. Damn. Well, there you go, folks.
One of my all-time favorite reviews of that match. But
Rambo just thrown in there in the midst of
I just wanted to add one more thing. The filming of this match and the cinematic style of this match is like unbelievable. There's that moment at the end where like Sarge is like, and you just see him reaching for the, was it the boot? I think it is.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, this is the best match in the history of the company. It still is to me today.
What I love about this match is, for all the blood and the violence and the aggression, it is a match with a ton of personality, right? I mean, the two guys that really knew how to work their gimmick. I mean, Sheik, we have our fun with Sheik, but he is always the Iron Sheik every turn, and this match really, really encaptures that. Bobby, boot camp, bro, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was incredible. I had seen it before. It never gets old. Just classic, man. And I mean, listen, like by the end of the match, the ring looks like someone had been murdered on it, which is always a plus. But like, just like you said, like even beyond the blood, they know what to do in the situation, and kind of, the struggle for the boot at the end is incredible stuff. And it is kind of like Alex said before, a through line from the alley fight. And, there's a lot of similar stuff. We get the belts again and the boots, and it works though. They knew what they had to do, and they went out there and did it.
I'm a big fan of just there's little pockets of brilliance within all the chaos and the atmosphere obviously is overwhelming. But like, what about the moment where Sarge blocks the punches and Sheik fucking kicks him low, and the crowd like sighs, oh man, he was so close. I love stuff like that so much. The drama of the whole thing. Alex, this is a piece of history, no doubt, right?
Oh yeah. Sheik's begging at the beginning too when Sarge jumps him at the word go. Mentioned that part in the match where Sheik goes sailing over the ropes. He's giving Slaughter a run for his money because Sheik, we have our fun with him. It's sometimes hard to remember how athletic he was at one point in time, especially when he was as completely gassed to the gills as he is here. There's that part towards the closing stretch where he gets him up for that gut wrench suplex. That is like a picture perfect suplex. Both those guys have to be just fucking completely done at that point. But that, we get I think a power slam follows that up, and it's still just like textbook on the money. Yeah, I mean, this match is what y'all said it is from the perspective of just like the majesty of the art, when there is no real downtime in between when Slots gives him that boot to Sheik just being an absolute bloody mess, which, we all have our fun with it, but it can kill the illusion when a guy's doing this on the ground. Like, Slaughter boots him, and then Sheik goes down in a very real way, too, of like holding his head like, fuck. And then he just gets up and his fucking dome is just covered in blood. And it's my favorite part of the match for sure. There is a part, I think it's when Sheik gets sent sailing over the top rope. He's set on the outside, and someone from approximately 2 or 3 rows back here just go, "You ain't shit," at the Iron Sheik, which I thought was great. It's something still accomplishable in wrestling to this day. And you think back to Cody winning at WrestleMania 40. There's nothing really more satisfying than when you watch a match and you see that you're into it, and then you see how much the crowd wants that one result to happen. And like, this is like a 1A example of that. They obviously, that crowd in MSG, they want the American hero to topple this foreign menace, and hits him with the boot and pins him. And like, it's like one of those things where it's like redlining the mics and the cameras and stuff, because the crowd's yelling so loud. It's great stuff. A quintessential piece of 80s wrestling. And Oracle, one of these days we're going to have to put the pen to paper and do our top 50 WWF matches of all time and figure out. I'm comfortable in saying this would settle somewhere near the top. Yeah,
that's something that I think we're actually going to do. Right? We've discussed it, and we have a big enough roster. I think if we all even put in our top 25, it would start accumulating quickly. But
do me a favor.
Yeah,
give it about 18 months. Okay.
No worry, I'm more than happy to not do it for a while. I got 6 projects that are currently just fucking waiting, just looming over me. Don't worry, least of my concerns.
Well, there's a reason I said that. You know why?
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, okay. Now I do have to say, our friend Alex is in a new spot. This is his second Grin Grappler in his new location, and I feared the worst, because back in the olden days, Alex would be able to just pull physical props, which just sort of emerge from it. So I assumed he wouldn't be able to do that. So I prepared for him. This is represented on physical media. Best to be at Madison Square Garden alongside classic moments, such as John Cena returns in the Royal Rumble match. This is on there. This is actually a really cool set, Alex. So you got this set? This is right up your alley. Yeah,
I do. Yeah, it's got, I think, like an early Bruno match that's like on film on that.
Yes, it has some pretty awesome stuff. The cover is genuine. I joke about Cena. That is a great moment. Look at the cover. Pretty neat. Pretty neat. But it's on there. It features a pre-match intro from Sarge in which he talks about how he never could quite get the better of the Sheik. And then he says, like, and when I finally busted him open, I always used to bleed. Sheik never bled. But when I finally busted open, man, she was excited. That's pretty cool.
Joe, before I forget, that MSG set, I don't remember. Does it have the WrestleMania 10 ladder match on it? I know that match is really under represented in physical media these days.
Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm going to have to delve into this whole lineup now. Should I just look at this, what's on this fucking thing?
I assume it definitely is on there. But yeah.
It has to be on there. The first match on it is Ivan Koloff and Pedro Morales, by the way, from 71. Is that the oldest match to get a Blu-ray release, do we think?
That's
71.
Right?
Probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno and Billy Graham. Oh, my goodness. Bobby Backlund, Ken Patera. Sheik gets a double feature in here. Sheik, Hogan, Sheik, Sarge. What's up?
Backlund Patera from 80?
Yes, May 80.
Really
This is like an Oracle, Okay, I just saw something godly. Hang on. So, all of these matches have a pre-segment, right? So, WrestleMania 1, Vince does an intro. Bob Uecker does an intro for Andre and Paul Orndorff versus Piper and Bob Orton. Who
What's
would
the
you
date on that?
guess?
85.
Yes, March 85. No, sorry, August 85. Who would you guess
Oh,
does the
Amazing
intro
Match.
for
Watch it.
Warrior squashing Honky Tonk Man?
Is it Jimmy Hart?
Close, really close.
Hmm.
One of the titans of the sport, without question. One of the great talkers, great personalities. Someone you really
Dana
connect with the
Warrior?
golden age.
Dana Warrior.
Close. The Miz. It was the Miz for that one.
Oh my God!
Hey.
Yep. Bret Hart and Perfect. So Finkel does the intro for Shawn and Razor, which is fascinating, actually. Backlund and Diesel is on there too. So
Hell
that's
yeah.
it. And then I'll just quickly, to take it home, there is the Rock's debut is on here. Triple H and Cactus Jack. Dudley's Hardys. There's all the modern classics you'd expect. The most recent match on here is, and I quote, from November 2009 Raw, DX versus Jericho versus John Cena and The Undertaker.
Wow.
Mhm.
I remember. It
Yes.
was the Go Home for Survivor Series, I think.
Also, Cal, Trish Stratus versus Mickey James. So,
Well, hold on.
yep, from from television. So, one of the coolest sets that they've never really done anything else like this because it's the only building you can kind of do it for, right? I mean, they didn't do one for sort of Royal Albert Hall, you know. Nonetheless,
Mustache Mountain and Undisputed Era.
well, hold on.
All
yeah,
right.
so this is good, isn't it? It's a good match.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then Slots is gone soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, not
Well,
long.
this has got to be, I mean, I think among things that aren't like criminal, this has got to be among the craziest like Vince power plays of all time, right? Like Sarge going, can I do this G.I. Joe thing? And just be like, fuck off. No, has got to be. I mean, because I know Bob, what's the story? He messed with Jesse, right? With Jesse's licensing when Jesse wanted to do. What did Jesse want to do? Do you remember, Bob, when he leaves and Susan wins and then.
Well, he sued him over royalties for home
Yeah.
video. Yeah.
But what was the thing he wanted to do? Do you remember he wanted to do something with his license? Fuck. I can't recall what it was.
Hold on. let me see.
Was it not
Thank
the
you, Bob.
movies he was doing?
It may have been. Yeah, I don't know. I know the home video thing was a whole matter, yeah. But nonetheless,
I came across.
Sarge. Yes.
Sorry. I came across the clip of Jesse talking about that. I think it was his RF shoot he did. It's like, do you remember what Vince said? He said, "That's my money. That's my money." And
Sarge legitimately transforms and like obviously we mentioned he's a major star, which is why he gets the spot. But dude, G.I. Joe was transformative to the fame of Sergeant Slaughter, and Vince was like, I'm so good on you making money on this fucking license, please. Have some respect for the WWF. This is
Also,
insane. What the fuck?
the insanity of how like G.I. Joe is arguably the like number one boys toy in like in America at that point in time, and seeing no path of like co-marketing or anything like that. It's just like, the fuck is wrong with this guy? You know? No, God damn it. LJ.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, he gets G.I. Joe figures. Sarge does.
Mhm.
To this day. And I think, you know, this whole ordeal and him proving that it was his gimmick and all that good stuff
And it
is
was a
why
gimmick.
is why that nowadays he can, you know, he can like basically sign his own licensing deals. Because Sarge has a unique deal, right, Alex? You've seen some of this stuff where he like, so he hits some, here you go, this is for the figure talk. He gets them Mattel figures still, but he also can sign with independent figure places.
Fucking Hawkins and Ryder made like 6 figures of him.
Yeah. But he also can do the G.I. Joe deals. It's pretty unique, and I think it's because it goes all the way back to this dispute, I believe. How much do you know of this topic? Because it kind of fascinates me, to be honest.
I know it was that, and like I know he was kind of like I think he's one of those things too. Like if he's in a video game or some shit, they have to do. You remember for the longest time when Hogan was in anything, it had the Marvel credit in it, and I think that's part of this too. But yeah, that was essentially it, because we're making the big push into WrestleMania and Vince's rock and wrestling vision of what's to come, and like so the dolls, which was the phrase, if you ever hear Cornette talk about it, we went up there and he talked about dolls for 45 minutes. He's obsessed with like his vision of what the toys and stuff are going to be. And it's also Vince now in full, like, we're past acquisition mode. Like, he's just obsessed with the idea of him controlling everything. And I would not be off base in saying this never really changed. And if he was still in charge to this day, it would be the same. But yeah, Slaughter, to his credit, a lot of these guys don't really have the wherewithal to worry of running afoul of Vince McMahon. And he was just like, yeah, so he had this deal. I don't know if it's like a lifetime deal or whatever, but, he had all the. Did you remember the one, like, comparable LJN figure he had that, like, G.I. Joe put out?
Yeah.
Like, and the magazine pictures of it was like him standing over the fallen LJNs of like Hogan and shit. Like, so he's gone until like 90, right?
He is, and I don't know if this has been verified or confirmed, but there is an increasing suspicion to this day that he like loses his Hasbro deal because Vince goes to Hasbro, and then they're like, we're good on making Sarge. So there's always been a belief that Vince like conspired to end the Hasbro.
Would not put it past him. Sarge does, though, have a very underrated Hasbro. I think he was in Series 3. Great figure. But yeah, just the idea was he didn't want Vince to own the whole Sergeant Slaughter name and likeness and whatnot. I think it worked out for him all right. Yeah, what a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
but
amazing stuff. Yeah.
It is just from like a timeline perspective. You watch this match, and to think that Sergeant Slaughter is in no way involved in the first WrestleMania, like even
it's insane.
45 years later, wherever we're at right now, it's crazy to think about. 43.
Oh, there you go. So they even brought that into the company line. There you go. There's because the line is legitimately the timeline is exactly when WWF does the Hasbro deal, and it's suddenly like, I think you need to come back to work.
Because of how my fandom is and how I sort of operate, when I think of Sarge, I think of his 1984 run on top, and I don't think of, I don't think of the Iraqi sympathizer as like the first thing. Like, it's always the 84 run for me. Like,
because you've seen it. I just think for most of the general wrestling fan,
and that's what I'm saying, because it's how I am.
But I also. I think there's fans. There's Grinners watching this that are like, "Damn, Sarge had all these classic matches." I think most people know him as just the gimmick, Well, it is an iconic gimmick, and again, we stress the word gimmick.
Yeah.
Well, Parafiling my ass. Oh,
I know who you are. The thing Bob said at the beginning of this, which is accurate, is almost 100% of the modern fan base knows Sergeant Slaughter as like a fucking Macy's Day Parade balloon that they bring out every once in a while to fucking USA. And then even then, if you want to do some digging, the most their version of history is going to give you is, well, he main evented WrestleMania, so we're only going to talk about that iteration of him, the one that main evented WrestleMania. Yeah. And so it does take, I was fortunate to come across that random ass fucking Fink reference of the alley fight. But yeah, you guys are on the money. Like, it's that weird thing about what they view history as. It's like, well, we don't need him for more than this, so we really shouldn't go out of our way to explain these other things about it.
Right. Because he's not forgotten. He's just the parts of his career that, don't get me wrong, the boot camp match is part of like in-house history.
It is.
But it's old enough that it's kind of, inevitably lost a little bit.
It's also treated, it's that one, and to be fair, ever since Patterson died, they've really played up the alley fight a lot in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Those two are brought up, but they're secondary to the 91
the later stuff. Yeah. So I have a theory.
Oh boy.
So he leaves the WWF because of this G.I. Joe business.
Idiot.
And he goes to the AWA. And they get the ESPN deal. I'm pretty sure on like the back of Sarge is how that deal was struck, or at least a big part of it. And I am here to tell you that I believe in the year of 1986, or I guess 85, I think 86. Someone can verify what year I'm referencing here.
85. 85 when he comes back to AWA, but I think that's when the ESPN deal is it starts in... It's definitely on an 86. So I'm talking out loud here. I'm thinking out loud here,
Yep.
but
Well, I'm going to get 90% of those profits.
Right. If you look at the year 86, right, Sarge kind of worked like the prototype 2026 TV wrestler run. Because the AWA is fucked, isn't it? It's fucked.
yeah.
Well,
So,
I don't
like,
know about that.
He just kind of has to do like he just has to do TV or 85, where are you I'm looking at. But as long as he's at the showboat,
Yeah.
because they didn't have a healthy live event business, did they? I mean, they were trying. I mean, the match we're about to do is at fucking St. Paul and looks like it's in my shed. Sadly, it's so dark. God love it. I was looking at it earlier. I was looking at his schedule in the AWA. Like it wasn't the same thing as what he just got done doing. And I think part of his story is that was why it was so appealing. Is like he could kind of be a little bit more chilled out on the wrestling schedule because he's already getting up there in age relative for a wrestler of this time. He's been a pro for over a decade, Blake was a big draw from Joe. I'm not super educated on it, to be clear. So I'm kind of talking out of turn, but
Yeah, they did
Arcade,
okay. They did okay, but like the Hogan not winning, was it Super Saturday, Super Sunday? What was the name of that event? Yeah, that was like the death knell or the death blow rather.
Like, were these hot? Like, because the ESPN thing is like a fascinating thing to me, but I've always kind of heard that it was somewhat turbulent even at this time because it was just difficult for them to keep up.
It always struck me as ESPN, like for lack of a better phrasing, needed content for the network, and so they picked up AWA.
Yeah, I mean the Showboat. There's some great stuff, obviously, but the Showboat is a pretty tragic setting in it for the telling.
Before we get into this, I just want to mention that during his kind of exile, in addition to G.I. Joe and whatnot, in the mid '80s, Sergeant Slaughter released a full-length LP, Sergeant Slaughter in Camouflage Rock America, and amongst the tracks on there, Sergeant Slaughter covers Neil Diamond's America. So,
oh my God,
indeed. It should also be said that really one of the more unique things that comes to this run is the Pro Wrestling USA stuff he's present for in it. Because he does the Flair match, doesn't he? One of the Pro Wrestling USA business.
That's right.
Yeah. So that would be summer 85, maybe. Summer 85, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, he
Sorry, the chat made me chuckle. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. But yeah, he does the AWA at a time where the AWA's relevance obviously isn't what it was, but it has ESPN, and he's a big part of that, and he's one of the featured guys. He's the champion. We meet him a little after that here, Oracle.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We are. Was this January 12th, I believe, right? Am I right in saying that? My date's failing me here. What was the date on this?
Was January 12th. Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
So hilariously, I wanted to get and all their matches are good. This is actually the least of their matches. But they have a huge feud in the early '86, including a really good bunkhouse match. There's a couple other really good matches. I'll throw those dates out here in a little bit. I do want to point out, as brought up in the chat earlier, as sort of a to segue into the AWA run, or rather his second AWA run when he was Sergeant Slaughter.
Right.
So Blackwell was a draw, so much so that Sarge was his tag partner in the very famous and outstanding all-time cage tag classic that I almost had, but I didn't want to. I was tasked with picking with the Backlund match and the match, and I chose one of the Hansen matches, Star Cage, which the date of that is April 21st, 1985. King Tonga, yes, a very young Haku.
Yeah.
Masked Superstar and Sheik, Adnan Casey versus Jerry Blackwell and Sergeant Slaughter in a cage. That is one of the best matches of the 80s, no question.
We're
check
still
that
gonna
out.
do best of Blackwell.
There you go. Yep. That's we'll put that on there. That match is absolutely incredible. Sarge's performance in that is absolutely incredible. That is absolutely going in the Jerry Blackwell special that we do sometime soon. I just wanted to point that out in terms of the discussion about
Yeah.
sort of the Blackwell's drawing ability. That match was a big deal. And Sarge was kind of, you're right. He was kind of just he was like a special attraction main eventer in a lot of ways. He would come in and do his stuff, and he had a feud with Boris Zukov in the summer of '85. They have a really good match on September 28th, '85.
And it's also important we stress, we talk about, the schedule. If you look at the number, I bet he still worked considerably more matches than we used to now. But because AWA was less travel too, it was probably a lot easier on his body, I would presume, wouldn't it?
Way easier, because they were just, especially at this point in '85, '86,
Right.
He was there for he was there forever. He was there for 5 years. He's there for '85 to '90.
Yeah, because he comes, doesn't he have a gap and then comes back again?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But yeah, he feuds with Hansen here for the AWA World Title. This match is good. The crowd is not as invested as you want them to. Hansen does a really solid arm work here. Sarge sells his arm really well. My favorite part of the match was the last couple minutes. We do get a jump cut. They did the King of the Mountain spot a lot, like in every title match in AWA. That spot is basically, it's a term that us wrestling nerds named, where the heel throws the babyface outside of the ring and then keeps him outside of the ring so they can't keep the count. It's typically what a heel champion defending would do in AWA. It's in a lot of '80s wrestling, honestly, stateside, but it happens like a ton in AWA and also a lot in the WWF. But Sarge has a slaughter cannon clothesline, right? And he goes for it. He takes a magnificent Sarge bump to the floor that's just brutal. It's particularly insane for the crowd that's just, is what it is in St. Paul. But comes in, tries to get the Cobra Clutch on the ring apron and all that stuff, and I think he gets counted out because he's still technically on the outside of the ring. And they do the classic Vern finish where Sarge has won the belt. Classic Vern, never change.
Who would all right, so the Grin, our little universe exists at this point in time. Who would be would it be Crosby that was still hanging on to the AWA? And
Sure.
And like when finishes like this happens, he has to figure out how to defend it.
Or I think Jack would be the guy that, like, every time they do it, it hurts him, but he just keeps soldiering on. Like, man, I wish they'd quit it with this stuff. But wow, what a great show! Yeah, this vibe-wise, this was a big departure from where we just were. But I enjoyed this, and I said to Oracle before, like, I think it was good we had this in the lineup because I do think it was good to get something that was more like, like something that's just a little bit more like just let's have a wrestling match, rather than it being an all-time great bloodbath. But it has to be said, Bobby, this was not Madison Square Garden.
No, not quite. It was fun for what it was. A lot of punching, a lot of dropping knees on each other, some limb work like Oracle talked about. Vern starts talking about another guy he knows named Stan Hansen for like 45 seconds. It was a nice match. It wasn't, anything that we've seen so far, but it was fun. And like the finish is stupid and makes Scott Ledoux look like a dumbass, but you kind of have to do it, I guess.
And kind of have to do it, I guess. Vern giving the finish.
Yeah.
You kind of have to do it, I guess.
It was fine.
Yeah. You get a great promo, Alex. I think you get a great pre-match promo.
I've been in the business for 30, 35 years, and
90%. Dude, okay, quick sidebar. Have any of y'all listened to the Laps Fan when they were in Minneapolis for SummerSlam? They did an interview with Greg Gagne.
I haven't listened to it yet, no, but I've been informed of it and I'm very intrigued.
Magical. Because at one point they go, so we've heard a lot of things over the years about Vern taking 90%, percentages, and Greg just cuts in. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Then he completely fakes any knowledge of this ever happening, and then you'll have to listen to it. It's good shit. Oracle, when I stepped away, I'm sorry if you already called this out, but we do have the incomparable Rod Trongard on call here, and
yes.
every other announcer throughout this whole lineup of matches calls him the Sarge, but no one calls him the Sarge quite like Rod Trongard. And a knee drop from the Sarge. Stan Hansen, for those keeping up with the Laps fan, they're currently, Hulk Hogan died a year ago, and they're getting into 1982 at this point in time. But one of the things that they're talking about is how much Hogan took from Stan Hansen for his work in Japan, and how influential Stan Hansen was on his career and whatnot. And I've been kind of doing a Stan Hansen deep dive as of late recently. And this match is, even though this match is pace-wise, we're slowing it down. We're grabbing a hold in our lineup on this one, and we're slowing it down a little bit. Stan Hansen, I have never seen another wrestler who had such relentless, frenetic energy in matches. Like, he just never stops moving. And he's always like doing something to try to win the match or to like advance his position in some way. And then on top of that, his promos, my God. And the one before this, like, even for the shouty Road Warriors 80 style promo, because he's yelling the whole time, he just doesn't slow down. And he never once during it loses like track of what he's trying to say or like, what he's going on about. And then of course he calls him Bob Slaughter over and over again, which is fucking amazing. Yes, this match, we had 3 all-time classics. We come to this. I think it was important to have kind of a fucking bread and butter match here, or just, a ham and cheese match. But also, because of everything we just talked about, it was important that we capture this kind of like gap from WWF that he had. So I think it was a good call to have it here. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good match for what they're trying to accomplish here. Slaughter fucking goes flying over the top rope again at one point during this. And yeah, it's not the best match of the lineup, not the best Stan Hansen match you'll ever see, but a good like timestamp for where Sarge was at this point in his career. And also I think like an interesting timestamp for where the AWA was because we're closing it. What was the date on this, by the way?
January 12th, basically.
Yeah, because Vern's already talking about Wrestle Rock on commentary, which, Sarge is a big part of that, which unfortunately he didn't record the bars for the Wrestle Rock Rumble, but, he was there.
What the hell, dude? No wonder it was an issue, Like that would have packed him in, wouldn't it, if Sarge got involved?
Still regret that Hansen didn't record any bars for that, but, yeah. And a spirited outing.
How familiar are you guys with the Pro Wrestling USA deal? The attempt at collaboration and all that good stuff. Is that something you guys are familiar with? I mean,
not really.
That's a really interesting subject matter. Oracle, have you read a lot about it?
I remember reading about it like 15 years ago and like seeing, because like I'd seen a handful of matches from that period. I'm not well versed in that. Yeah. But it was a thing. It was Vern's idea, right?
I believe so. Yeah, and like the issue was none of them like could trust each other, or
because it was something. It was something around there. Because I think Alex, if correct me if I'm wrong, they touched on this and kind of did about 30 to 40 minutes on this on the Laps Fan when they covered AWA, I think. Mm-hmm. But it's been probably a year or so since I listened. It's probably been longer for you since you listened to that podcast. But
I think, was it kind of in a sense like a precursor to like the Super Clash idea of just like him bringing everything together?
Yeah.
There was because there was a big debate about Crockett said that they lied about the money.
I remember hearing about that. Yes, that was in the Last Fan podcast. I remember hearing.
But I think Vern said that his claim was that Crockett was trying to steal his guys.
Yeah, that was all in the. I'm my memories because my memories getting jogged from the Laps Fan podcast.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's all just the same thing of Vern told Vince to go fuck himself, and then quickly looked around and was like, "Whoa, I need to figure something out here."
Yeah, it's interesting because there definitely was. I mean, clearly we just joked about the music, but Restaurant Rumble did like a good crowd, didn't it? It did like an impressive. There was an appetite, wasn't there? But they struggled to. I think as much as anything, they struggled to compete structurally. I think there was a monster that Vince was building.
Well, they got hit so hard first because people always just assume that like WWF took over in '84, and nobody else was doing well. I mean, World Class was doing great, into '85. Crockett was doing great into '87. By the end of '87, early '88, Crockett was
right
in a lot of fucking trouble. But
you could certainly, diagnose other reasons for their struggles by that point. So I mean, obviously, the fucking messing with the pay-per-view was a big problem financially.
Oh, of course, WWF had a big hand and a main component of why these companies fell. Right, it was a total, it was a total offensive.
Yeah.
Wrestle Rock drew 23,000 people. If we had today's age of piping and draping and cutting stadiums off, that'll look great on television.
Yeah.
Didn't it that's like the same month. It may even be closer to the Crockett Cup, but I think it outdrew the Crockett Cup. I remember they talked about it on Laps Fan. So yeah, I don't know. It's it is an interesting subject matter. I mean, Kayfabe Commentaries did a guest booker.
I hear you real quick, Joe. Here you go. It drew more fans than both Nights of the Crockett Cup combined.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's crazy. Kayfabe Commentaries did a guest booker about Pro Wrestling USA with our dear friend Greg. It was supposed to be Greg and Vern. Vern was not in. He was not up to it. Was not in health to go. So, they had Greg just come on his own, and Greg, in true Greg fashion, refuses to book and asks Sean Oliver to do the booking, and then he sort of reviews the booking.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So he's sitting there with all these all these papers and just goes, "What do you want to do?" Yeah,
one of my all-time favorite moments, as we are on the 5-year anniversary of this great platform that we've cultivated, and our Grinners have helped to push through to space and time and beyond.
Yes.
Is when we were watching SummerSlam during the Grin Along.
Yeah.
And we saw the Killer Bees.
Wow.
And then the camera panned over to Greg Gagne. I've never been happier for 10 seconds in my entire life.
It was the best thing on the show. Best thing on the show.
It actually was. Because all of a sudden Joe goes, because Joe was like 3 seconds ahead of me. Oh my God, it's Greg Gagne.
Yeah. I was so happy. And then they started a ladder match or something and brought me back down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough about the AW. Did we talk about this match? Did we all talk about this? We all did, didn't we? It's good, wasn't it?
Yeah, we did.
It's good. I liked it. He does a sunset flip at one point in this match. Yeah. How is there a more AWA vibe than Stan Hansen grabbing the arm while one guy in the crowd just goes, "Boring! Boring!" While Vern talks about sport and competition and athleticism. Oh, I love it.
We got some dino powder here. Got some
different vibe. Different vibe Oracle too in terms of truly fighting from underneath in this one, and he's slaughter. He's
absolutely. Sarge is Sarge. All of his absolute classics are pretty much brawls, which he was obviously a king at.
Yeah.
But Sarge knew the little details here. I mean, just watch him sell his arm here, which he does really well. At one point, he tries to hit an offensive move and sells his arm really well. He just, an incredible baby face, really. I think he's one of the best baby faces of all time. And he could really do it. He was more of a big room wrestler when it comes to that, but his detail work was underrated.
Absolutely. As we said, he kind of floats around. He steps away for a bit. He comes back to some more AWA on much more of a part-time basis, I feel like in the later years, right? Fully just kind of 1 foot out. And then the aforementioned figure switch around happens, and he's about to have a real change of pace here. Before we get to that, let's call out some other matches here before we get to our final act. Yeah, Oracle, take it away, mate.
All right. So from 84 WWF, Slaughter versus Sheik from May 21st, 84. Incredible match. That's the setup for the boot camp. Let's see here. The other boot camp match from Landover on June 9th, totally different, amazing match. June 9th, 84, Landover, Maryland. Slaughter Sheik Boot Camp. Slaughter and Terry Daniels versus Adrian Adonis and Dick Murdoch. The North-South Connection is very, very good. Great match even from MSG, July 23rd, 1984. This is a super fun match. Really, really good. Slaughter and the Wild Samoans versus Adrian Adonis, Dick Murdoch, and Captain Lou Albano. September 22nd, 1984.
Wow.
Super awesome match. Talked about it earlier. I'll bring it up again. Name these dates again. Slaughter and Junkyard Dog versus Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov from Philly, October 13th, 1984. Bloodbath, amazing match. Slaughter and JYD versus Sheik and Volkov, Texas Tornado, Philly, November 10th, 1984. That might have been the last big slots match, actually, before he made his departure. That Tornado tag in November 10th, 84. But those ones, AWA, I've got some AWA here.
Oh, here we go. Tell me about it.
So I mentioned the Star Cage match from April 21st, 85, one of the all-time great matches of the 80s. The people in that match, Young Haku, Mass Superstar, and Sheik Adnan versus Jerry Blackwell and Sergeant Slaughter in a cage, April 21st, 85. We've got Sarge versus Boris Zukov. I believe that's the Ballpark Stadium show from September 28th, 85. And then the other Hansen matches, which are all really good, versus Hansen from February 2nd, 86, versus Hansen from February 23rd, 86, and then the blow-off of the feud against Hansen in a bunkhouse match, March 9th, 1986. He also has a really good coal miner's glove match with Colonel De Beers at what's the name of the show that I should know? Same show that has Lawler and Carey.
Super Clash.
Yep, Star Clash.
Clash,
Yep, from December 13th, 88.
Yeah. There we go. How valuable is the Oracle of Wrestling's
God bless him.
extensive match listings here this evening, folks? He's been preparing for this without even knowing it. All right, there we go. Let's roll on here. We have a lot to discuss here, Bob. I want you to prepare yourself because I'm going to lean on you a lot here as the true decider of what's true and what's not on our platform. Okay, so prepare yourself. Pitch is made to Sergeant Slaughter for him to return to the WWF as a heel Iraqi sympathizer. The idea is simple. We're going to sell 100,000 tickets at the LA Coliseum, Bob?
Yes, correct.
Yes. They do the angle. He wins the WWF title from the Ultimate Warrior. The public is not thrilled. Not an electric response. Hang on a second, because again, Bob, I want you to prepare yourself for what Alex is about to say, because this could be completely false. We'll see. Alex, go for it.
Yeah, that's if we're fact checking here.
Yes.
Bob, do you know if there's any truth to the idea that if Slaughter didn't come in, they were going to give Tugboat the Iraqi sympathizer gimmick, and he was going to main event WrestleMania with Hogan?
I've heard that. I did look at the Observer from this time because I figured this would come up. Dave never had anything about it. The plan was seemingly just always for it to be Hogan and Slaughter, but I have heard the Tugboat thing enough where I do believe it.
Wow.
Tugboat in the headdress.
Wow. Okay.
Now I'm thinking of JP Sorrow's Sheik Adnan impression and him shouting Tugboat instead.
Wow. Okay. So, spoiler alert, they do not sell 100,000 tickets at the LA Coliseum. And for reasons that have been debated for the last 35 years, they in fact moved, Bob, to the what is that building called? The
Los Angeles Sports Arena.
Yes. Now, Bob, as the lead correspondent here when it comes to Wrestling Observer and news coverage in general, what is your take on this matter, which I think most people are on the same side of, but Bruce Pritchard is pretty adamant. Where do you stand?
Yeah, I think they just weren't selling enough tickets. I mean, I guess it's possible that it was like heated enough where maybe there were threats, but like I don't think if they had 100,000 people and they had threats that they would have moved the show. I think they would have just kept it going, just kind of based on what we know about Vince.
So I did a little bit of reading earlier. The belief was that at the time of moving the show, they had sold 12,000 tickets.
Yep.
So now we need to be clear, right? This isn't a reflection of Sarge's work, because I actually like the WrestleMania match, let alone the one we're about to cover.
I like it a good bit, actually.
So this isn't a reflection of his efforts in the gimmick, but we need to reiterate that the plan was, yes, you're going to do this gimmick that's going to completely sacrifice your public image, but you're going to work on top in front of 100,000 people in a stadium.
Bro, he burned the American flag.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
He burned it was the Hulk Hogan shirt because he wouldn't burn the flag.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Very
same thing. No,
that's an incredibly important correction.
I know that it was that the burning the flag, and then he wanted him to spit on the flag, and he didn't want to do that, so he spit on Hogan, leading to one of the all-time Vince McMahon calls of "He's spitting on us all."
Wow. So
there was no were there any boxing events in the 80s that were held at the LA Coliseum? I'm trying to think if there's any precedent for an event like this being there.
Big room, big room.
They had the Olympics there. That's about it.
A little bit different than WrestleMania.
A little bit.
Well, it depends. Depends who you ask. So, I mean, this is an all-time flop of an angle. I mean, it has to be. I mean, again, we're not talking about the merits of the work. I mean, obviously, we're talking about the morality of it. It's one thing. People weren't thrilled about it. But, I mean, just forget all of that. Just dollars and... I mean, this was a disaster. It was a fucking catastrophe. I mean, this is a sign of, the times are changing in terms of Vince, losing kind of a feel for the public, I feel like. As much as we're having our fun here, But yeah, I don't know, Alex, how much have you studied this topic? Because it is a very funny one. I think this has got to be among the all-time one seeds and contenders in terms of if Twitter existed then, what a day it would have been.
Oh, man. Meltzer would have just, developed carpal tunnel over 3 days, just tweeting things out. But, yeah, I don't know what it still holds in, the lore of WrestleMania. But for someone like me who... started watching the WrestleMania documentaries in the late 90s and stuff. This was such a huge part of it. And the narrative, the thing they always pushed was he had so much heat that we couldn't do it outdoors, and, fucking Remus there. I can't do it, Sarge, but, talking about every night I was wearing a bulletproof vest to the ring, just didn't know what was going to happen. And just and one of the documentaries even has Vince talking about the precautions were already in place. They were going to have snipers lining the LA, the ring of the LA Sports Coliseum. And, but it was just deemed it was going to be too unsafe, man. And you're right. Of course, there was going to be a recession in business for how hot they were and whatnot. And so over time too, this became it's the fucking the Biden administration that their fallback line was it was the Warriors' fault. It was always because the Warrior had tanked business so bad that they had to do this. But yeah, it's it lives up there as one of the funnier pieces of history because just like you said, it's not like this happened in Jack Johnson boxing days where we don't really know. It's we know how many tickets they sold. It's not really this disputable thing, but it's something they've held on to forever. So yeah, I've always found it very funny, and to this day, God bless him. If Sarge was on here with us, he'd be telling us the reason it was canceled because it was safety concerns and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think Bobby and Grin are on, but Bruce is still on it, right? He refused. I think Bruce will occasionally do listen, the advances weren't great, but am I right on that, Bob? Right? It's gonna be
No, you're correct. And so piecing it together just from what Dave said, everyone kind of expected Vince to just drop the angle once it became an actual war, and instead he leaned into it more.
That's not like it, because usually he's very tasteful with that kind of stuff. Yeah, very tactful.
It's ever since that, I can't even joke about the Muhammad Hassan stuff anymore. Like it's
Yeah.
the only time in history they literally had to kill one of their characters to not get thrown off of like a network. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But great WrestleMania though. 7 turned out to be a great WrestleMania.
Yep.
True. So true. So yeah, it comes and goes, and the match is, to
Before
me
we move on
anyway,
from the
fun.
LA Sports Coliseum, it's just worth calling out through all that. Years later, the one and only Brock Lesnar would end up making his MMA debut at the LA Sports Coliseum.
What is that show? It's like a K1 show, right? Like a
The co-main of that was the rematch between Hoist Gracie and Kazushi Sakuraba. And,
That's right.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. I reckon I said it earlier. We like the Mania match. Bob, do you like the match?
I think it's fine. It wasn't as bad as I remembered it being when I watched it earlier this year.
Yeah. It has a terrible reputation, doesn't it?
It does, but yeah, the actual match itself is fine. I mean, you know what's going to happen the whole time, but like it's fine. It's better than Hogan and Sid.
Yeah.
Bob, just out of interest, do you think there's some of the surrounding factors may have impacted people's enjoyment of the match?
It's possible, yeah. There's a lot going on.
Yeah. When you watch a wrestling match, do you like that kind of subtext, that kind of backdrop? Just war and suffering? And
No, I mean, it makes me a little uncomfortable.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
Did Slots hit in the ring with a purple strap winged eagle belt also make you uncomfortable? It makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's not great.
So just for anyone who's keeping score at home, Bob, just to be clear, you're saying there was no threat of danger. They didn't sell enough tickets. I want to make sure we have this for the record because this is very
going on the record. I don't believe them.
Someone wants to clip that, send it to Bruce. 83 weeks, wherever you can get some feedback on it. Do you think JBL was commenting on this since he took over Saints Wrestle? Do you think, Bob, there's a chance?
That'd be very funny. I don't think he cares as much because, he wasn't involved.
That's never stopped him before.
That's true.
Yeah. Remember when he had that quote last year? He was doing the AAA and he goes, I think Alberto Del Rio is the best wrestler in the world right now. Tremendous. All right. Nonetheless, we say all this to say it didn't work out, but it did give us our next match. June 3rd, 1991. We're back there again, boys. We're headed there again for a match that has, correct me if I'm wrong, this is one that's like grown in rep like over years, right? Yeah. MSG. Desert Storm. Hogan. Slaughter. Classic house show encounter. Creating an iconic look. Alex, this is, I'm not saying it's worth all that we just discussed, but bloody good, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is great. Worth calling out, if I remember correctly, one of the announcements at the Comic-Con figure lineup is Hogan is getting a figure recreating the attire from this match.
It may even have made it out, I think. I think
okay.
I think
may have been sooner. But yeah. And we've talked about Hogan in situations like this really thrives. It's not to say he can't do good bell-to-bell stuff, but like just all the gaga in the world thrown in there, and it's this is a lot of fun. Yeah, like you said, I don't know if taking the scenic route to it was necessarily worth it, but makes you do that thing of, well, this should have been the WrestleMania match. But what we get here is Hogan coming out, just beating the shit out of Sergeant Slaughter for a while, throwing him. Sarge is once again flying all over the place, runs the razor, works a comeback for himself, although cuts himself off in an extremely dangerous, banana peel type moment, though. He goes up and to the top rope and slips himself off and just falls on the back of his head. He easily could have knocked himself out on that. I'm surprised he didn't. Go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off. Jim Neidhart is not good at commentary. I wanted him to be quiet every time he was talking during this.
Man, is he bad here. Wow.
Because everything he says, he has to do the afterwards, in something that would not be as pleasing come Halloween Havoc 1998, Hulk Hogan throws a beautiful fireball here
Yeah.
at the conclusion, which the crowd loses their shit for. And then Hogan, like, the 7 match just ends big boot, leg drop, 1, 2, 3, right?
Yes, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. How much more badass is this finish where he beats him with his own move? And we get fucking lore, fellas. Going back to the Grand Wizard throwing the towel in, here we have fucking and then all KC coming out and Sergeant Slaughter throwing the fucking towel into the ring.
I didn't even see that coming. Wow. Okay.
Good shit.
Yeah, I like I like the match a lot. This has got to be the most aggressive Hogan was in the 90s, I feel like. Because by the 90s, like, the aggression that actually really fuels the best Hogan matches is starting to really... It isn't really very present in a lot of his stuff for me.
Yeah, this is, less than maybe just around a year after the legendary Hansen match in Japan. And to your point, that felt like one of the last times he really was, like, crazy aggressive Hogan. And he winds it back here.
I mean, we're near the end of the, he's coming at the end of the big run here, isn't he, really? I mean, he's very close to the end of it. So, it's very, very interesting to reflect upon as a result. Oracle, in an infamous angle, a match here of note, fair to say, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. This match is awesome. I remember it got some hype about 15 or so years ago on the message boards, and I remember checking it out then, and I was like, oh, this fucking rules. And, this is slowly sort of... kind of been credited as like one of the last Hogan classics in the WWF before he jumps.
Yeah.
This is a ton of fun. Hogan's like Desert Storm mask, whatever the fuck, like, is insane, and he comes out and he's wearing it like half the time. Sarge, my favorite part of the whole match is they do this amazing dramatic build-up with a steel chair. And Sarge, his selling is amazing. He uses it to get himself up. He picks it up, he slings it up over his head, and he bumps for the chair. Like, he's so tired, he can't even, and he just...
And the place pops, doesn't it? It pops.
It is amazing. That's the type of, like... That's the type of... What's the word? Investment in what they're doing.
Yeah.
That I wish could be done today.
Yeah.
Though there's other factors that could maybe make that difficult with, I mean,
right.
We know how all the sauce is made and all that. But that's the type of stuff that's just like, man, that's the type of wrestling that's like the spot that stuck into my head was that one. Of course, the throwing the salt and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess in this case it's supposed to be sand. I don't know. But I love the post match when, like, they miss Hogan throwing the salt into Adnan's eyes, and post match is fun. Hogan celebrates with the kids, so on and so forth. But this is Sarge's last classic match, I think. I'm glad we included this. This is his last, like, kick-ass match.
And it has to be said, he's still bumping like a madman at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to be getting up there by this point. Like, right? He has to be at this time. Especially, again, the years were different then because how often the guys worked. But he has to have been an older fellow, I'd imagine. Bumping crazy for a big man. Because that's one thing we need to stress. He was a really big guy. Huge guy, and the way he bumped around, I think you probably give credit for one of the great bumping big men.
I think of his elimination in Rumble '92.
Yeah, right, exactly, and that's even after this, exactly.
He would have been circling 43 here.
Yeah, wow. Which again, different years, right, in terms of just the amount of mileage probably would have been there, but big fella, Bobby, hell of a match here, right?
It is. It's a great time. kind of like everything. And it's cool kind of watching them, back to back to back. You see the inspiration they take from the alley fight and the boot camp match,
Yeah.
It's again in the helmet and all that good stuff. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's as good as those two, but like it's a lot better than the WrestleMania match, which I do enjoy. I see why you couldn't just do this at WrestleMania, but like, it's always kind of felt like if someone either didn't like the WrestleMania match or was just okay with it, you'd want to show them this too. And it has picked up steam in recent years, like you said at the beginning. Yeah, a lot to like there.
Certainly. Speaking of a lot to like, Bob, if someone's like this, is there a way they can show us that, maybe?
Yeah, you go ahead and smash that like button 5 times for her 5th birthday. It's an odd number.
President saved that one for tomorrow. Wow, double high spot. All right, I like it. Harji has been a member 23 months as my friends and I added Sergeant Slaughter on to our Twitter group chat. And he actually talks and every now and then was saying insane shit. I believe that. Okay, I'm going to quickly use this as a chance to discuss one of the all-time great posting flurries in the history of wrestling. Bob, no surprise I'm going to return to you for such a topic. Do you remember when Sergeant Slaughter with confidence was like, there's no shot Lacey Evans thinks she can pull off this gimmick. This is terribly disrespectful.
I sure do.
What was he cooking, Bobby? Holy shit, dude.
Oh, he was right. You got a point.
He was right. What the fuck? It was. I feel like he was like in the midst of the Stolen Valor controversy too. He did this, or at least close to it. I don't know.
Getting the heat off himself.
Yeah. He was like, listen, so you all about me, but at least I had some good matches. Fucking hell,
Bob, I don't know if you remember this. This is before Grin Grappler days. We had a group chat. It was me, Bob, Shoot. Who else was in there? Some disgraced Twitter dignitaries. But anyway, like as a rib one day, someone added John Cena to it.
No, yeah.
And like I probably said something. There was basically what happened is John Cena got added, and then people like said stuff, and then it just went. John Cena has left the chat. So he got in there and got out, but it was. I remember that was really funny. We didn't get the same glory as fucking Sergeant Slaughter, chiming in every once in a while. That's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. Wow. What a happening! Incredible stuff. And he's still just posting through it, from what I can see. Well, I look today. He's just out there posting. A lot of all caps posting too. Very interesting. So Alex sent me this. This was the figure we were referencing.
Yeah, this came out 3 years ago. I don't know. I confused.
Wow.
I confused it with at Comic-Con they unveiled. They're doing the LJN as the Ichiban Hogan. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah, that's
awesome.
outstanding.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is
That's kind of fucking
Hogan,
awesome, to be honest.
the Hogan in question. So, quick question, and Alex, help me out here. This match, this Desert Storm match, has this got a physical media life? Do we know? Is this what this has to have been released on some Hogan cell or something, right?
I would assume, yeah, but like even the best quality we have led me to believe that it's like most of the rips come from like the MSG network, and yeah.
I watched a very grainy version of it, and I was wondering, this has to be out there on some kind of physical. It has to be.
Yeah.
Are there Hogan Blu-ray sets that we know, or are they just all the old school DVD sets?
Man, this isn't what you asked me, but do you remember one of the Hulkamania home videos had the Tokyo Dome Hansen match on it with Sean Mooney and Lord Alfred doing call on it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have that version, and it's deeply unsettling, I have to say.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if this is on DVD ever.
Because like the Tokyo Dome obviously like prefers Hansen, and so Alfred Hayes has to like explain it.
Never officially released by WWE on an official standalone home video.
Wow. Hogan will be kind of working here when Alfred Hayes would just hit like he really is a mighty fighter.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hansen! Look at Hansen! It's tremendous
Okay,
stuff.
so a set years ago came out, Hulk Hogan, the unreleased collector set, and it does have one of the SGT matches, but it's from London and it's supposed to be real bad. So
What the fuck, dude? Why is this match like this is strange? Very, very strange. They release everything, Hogan, you know, for like sort of we need to get our Vault pals on this, you know? The Vault folk that watch our shows. They need to get them on this.
you get those
there you go.
Kevin Von Erich dark matches too.
Yeah. One at a time. One at a time, right?
Hey man, I've been asking for Public Enemy and Smoking Guns for as long as I can remember at this point.
Alright, yeah, very, very fun stuff. Spawned an action figure. Pretty neat little piece of history. It's a salvage a infamous run. They go on, they do the SummerSlam, right? They do the SummerSlam tag, correct? They do it.
And yeah, dude, another for those who have ever watched that pay-per-view, the opener there, it's because it's the headline is Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage getting married. Vince McMahon on fire with the voiceover. It's the match made in heaven. Then nuptials turn to napalm as the match made in hell. And it's the Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan against. We bring the Sheik back, right? It's Sheik Baby, Adnan Al-KC, and Sarge in a match that I don't even know if it's good because it's obviously always overshadowed by the story of the Warrior.
Bro, this whole entire run is so fucked, dude.
And then afterwards, let me say it again. I want my country back.
Yes.
Which is just,
we should say, before we even get into the winning the country back and all that, him being involved in the SummerSlam does create some iconic WWE documentary making where they talk about Warrior holding Vince up for money and Sarge is full, like, just, you can't, you know, that's not what this business is built on. Come on.
In the self-destruction, they're talking about they're going to get Sheik to break his leg in the ring.
Yeah.
Hogan's
back in the old days. And Sarge is sitting there going, I mean, I like Jim, but I don't know what he was thinking with that one. Tremendous stuff. But you're right, Oracle. He wanted his fucking country back, didn't he?
Yeah,
he wanted
did.
His country back.
And he like, my memory is he like, something happens where like he feuds with Volkov or something, doesn't he?
I don't know.
And then like he pairs back. I think he gets back with like. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, you can research it.
He's babyface by Survivor Series, right? Or is he?
Yes. Because I think he teams up with Duggan, who was the first person he originally turned on, right? When he turned heel, and then he ends up being in that 8-man tag at Mania, right? At Mania 8.
Yeah, he does.
And that's his
fall
last
from grace.
That's because that's the end of the run. Let me see if I can do so. Let's see. He does. This is after the Hogan feud. Slaughter becomes a face again, appearing in vignettes next to American landmarks, saying, "I want my country back." During an episode of Superstars, Jim Duggan was under attack from the Nasty Boys, and Slaughter made the save. WrestleMania 8 on April 5th. Slaughter, Duggan, Big Boss Man, and Virgil defeat the Nasty Boys, the Mountie, and Repo Man.
So now here's my question. Go for it, Alex. You go.
I was going to say his babyface team at Survivor Series that year is a pretty underrated babyface team. We got Slots, Jim Duggan, Kerry Von Erich, and Tito Santana. That's a pretty sick team.
That does rock. How soon after saving Jim Duggan and turning babyface do you think that Slaughter gave up on the bulletproof vests? Do you think he gave it some? Do you think there was a buffer period where he went, listen, you know, take it slow? Or do you think he immediately went, I'm back? I've got my country back. You know, it's tough to say.
The Sea Towns, he still had a security detail.
Well, you got to remember the WWF TV was strong, but I'm with you. Some of those Sea Towns, you got to be careful.
I don't think it's as insane as initially like, let's have this guy be a fucking Iraqi sympathizer during a real war. But then immediately, then less than 6 months later, immediately turning him back face, begging to have his country back is absolutely peak World Wrestling Federation.
Oracle, do you remember they had the photoshopped picture of him shaking hands with Saddam Hussein that they plastered all over the fucking broadcast back then?
Wow, look at this. Vega just sent this to me. VHS tape. Best of WWF most unusual matches has the Desert Storm match.
Ooh.
I love it.
Oh, that looks like a Silver Vision. That might be just exclusive to Europe.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Tremendous piece of business. Thank you for that. But yeah, he got his country back, didn't he? And he got him an 8-man tag at the WrestleMania.
Oh, real quick,
My goodness.
part of him
Yes.
doing the Iraqi sympathizer thing was supposed to be he was going to have a job with the WWF for the rest of his life. And, well,
What?
that's how it was sold to him, that he would never have to worry again. I think they cut him the first time, like the end of '93, and then
He has mostly worked in some form or fashion there, I guess.
he has, because he was an ambassador after he wasn't a road agent anymore. They kind of went back and forth. It was a whole thing.
Because I'm wearing the Yoko today because he's the guy who gave him the gimmick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because he was always someone who's very tasteful with these things, and so yeah, he gave him the gimmick. I'm gonna put this on the
That picture
screen.
is
Yeah, they were. This is what they were broadcasting on the television show at the time during the
let me pull
actual
this up.
war. Yeah.
But that's right, Bob. Right, he gave Yoko the gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
He was always very tasteful with those things. Here it is. The lads.
That looks like something like that would have been on the screen when Norm was doing Weekend Update or something. Look at that, dude.
So he's in the last legs here in the WWF. He's in the 92 Rumble, as we mentioned. He does have a match with Ric Flair, Bobby, right? Which we were tempted to do just for novelty, but I think on the novelty front we beat it with our last match. But
Yeah.
the Flair match isn't particularly good, but it is kind of just interesting to look at in that setting, right, Bob?
Yeah, it's worth watching. I mean, it's only 5 minutes. It's on Superstars, I believe.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
I do want to call out that I scoured the internet tirelessly to see if there's a fan cam of one. But on his way out of being a semi-regular in the WWF, the house show match he was doing was him and PCO, which you want to talk about two guys bumping. Him and Quebecer Pierre were working the house shows in Wildwood, New Jersey. I was trying to see if one of those had like a 4th generation VHS rip, but to no avail. He's also in the it's not infamous, but that 40-man Royal Rumble they did at Madison Square Garden, that Owen Hart one. He was in that as well.
Oh, that is very, very interesting. So I guess I need a piece of so Bobby, you said he gets let go at the end of '93.
end of '93, yep, and then
And he does he must do some indies and float about a bit still, right? At that time.
yeah, he doesn't do a ton in '94. In October '94, he was at WCW looking for work, but that obviously never happened. And then he went to the American Wrestling Federation.
Whoa! Hold the phone. Do you think Brother Terry do you think it passed his mind? He could turn again, brother.
Oh yeah.
There's always new national enemies emerging.
Hey, listen,
you know what I mean?
dude. Hey, man, listen. I got a really good idea.
The fireball.
All right, Slots, we're going to bring you in, dude. You're going to be my best friend for about 6 months, dude. And then, all right, you're going to turn on me. Stargate.
Wow. Bob, do we know if he was looking for agent work or he was going to try and...
So it's the biggest news is that Warlord, Sergeant Slaughter, and Tito Santana are all backstage looking for work. So
This changes everything. Dude, imagine Slaughter's working Nitro. Close, you're a year away. You know?
Right.
By then he could turn back babyface and be fucking getting his country back again.
They also World War III in '95. He was discussed for that too.
I like how that's how wrestlers look for work back then. Is they don't go get a real fucking job.
That still exists.
They go to
Too.
the fucking
Yeah.
Norfolk Sculpt or some shit.
You go to the building, you stand around, you hope someone comes up and goes, "You still working? You got your gear?"
Arn Anderson, can I help you?
Yeah, exactly. It still will always be that way.
Dude, mid '95, the U.S. was pulling out airstrikes on Bosnia. He could have been a Bosnian sympathizer.
He'd have been a great Bosnian sympathizer. Damn. This is just a trend. It's like, imagine if on the first Nitro, rather than it being a VKM Wall Street vignette, it was a fucking Sarge, I want my country back after the Bosnia sympathizer run came to a halt at Bash of the Beach or something.
All right, Joe, give us the Nitro match. '95, Slaughter getting like 9 minutes on TV with someone. Who would it be?
Oh, man, there's so many. It's Regal in it. Him and Regal would just be.
Oh,
yeah. That
Or
might have actually been
Finlay.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Brother Brutal.
but instead we'd get him versus Kurosawa.
Oh,
That would have been.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking of fucking Slots feuding with the booty man. Booty puke.
Well, because that would be like he's after he loses to Hogan, he'd have to have a fall down feud, wouldn't he? Fallback feud. That would be it. Booty man, that's good stuff. Wow, that's that's terrific. I'm absolutely in love with everything about that. Thank you, Bob, for that piece of information.
Oh yeah.
He floats around. And so is his return literally when he does the on-screen commissioner stuff? Is that when he's back, or does he come back before that? Do we know, Bob?
No, that's when he comes back because they
Wow.
Gorilla was in poor health. They need a new commissioner, and they mentioned Slaughter, Pat Patterson, Ernie Ladd, Bill Watts, and Jack Tunney.
I'm sorry. I'm not laughing at Gorilla's health. What I'm laughing at is because I kind of went past it. He is at a show looking for work. Legitimately 4 years after being told he had a job for life. Okay, to go, sorry, because I was off the rails there. Who else was the candidates for this, Bob, you said?
Slaughter, Pat Patterson, Ernie Ladd, Bill Watts, and Jack Tunney.
Bill Watts, 96 or 97 was this? Television?
97, yeah, July 97.
97. Ernie Ladd
Oh
is
my
fucking crazy,
God.
actually, too. But Bill
Oh my
Watts,
God.
just, my goodness.
Imagine telling Bill Watts he had to take a stunner.
Oh, wow.
Imagine Bill Watts having to do a promo for those gang war feuds.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Talk about
Yeah.
losing sponsors.
Yeah.
Also, Jack Tunney back in the fold.
Yeah.
What one of those kayfabe commentaries with Nash talking like Sean Oliver asks what he actually did. I don't know, but that fucker had a new Cadillac every time we were in Toronto.
We need to watch some of those. They're godly.
Although Nation of Domination Farouk cutting a promo on Bill Watts would probably be
No.
fucking awesome.
that could have been good.
Be incredible. Yes.
While Jim Ross just whispers, he put the WCW title on him, please.
Okay, so yeah, in reading, yeah, Bob's coverage is all right. He didn't come back to the WF in '94. He just did a series of house shows for him. I guess they need to pop the house, so put Slots on the bill.
Wow. What a fascinating time.
Oh, damn it, he's right. If Watts was, the problem is he was just on-screen commissioner, but man,
Yeah. Well, he does have that brief spell, doesn't he, in creative, which
yeah,
we
we're
discussed
looking at
on the,
95 in the fall of 95. Yeah,
Did we discuss it on the Yoko episode, I think?
yep,
Yeah.
6-man tag.
Yeah, so he's the commissioner. He does this thing with Triple H. Alex, any fond memories of the great Triple H Sergeant Slaughter boot camp match, mate?
Not of the match, and this isn't retweets don't equal endorsements. I don't want to put over Paul too heavy, but the shit they did with the face shields and the windshield wipers when Sarge was in their face, that shit is funny. The match, I had to look it up because it's reviled. Dave gave it -2 stars at the DX in your house.
Isn't it like
But-
20 minutes long?
It's very long, very long. I don't know if it was on the Raw, the Go Home Raw, or maybe just like one of the syndicated shows. But Slaughter cut this insane promo that I always remember. Me and my sister used to quote it, and I couldn't find it in preparation for this. But he's like in fatigues, and he's at it's the Raw's War ramp, so he's at the head of the ramp, and the camera is like this close to him, and he's just staring into the camera, and he's talking about like what it takes, like the boot camp match, and he's talking about his fucking military
I've seen
experience, and he goes, "Have you ever killed a man, Helmsley? Have you ever crawled over your dead best friend to survive?" And he's just like staring into your soul through the camera. It's, if you can ever track that down, it's way more worth the effort than the match itself. Lesser known, do you remember Joe in '99? He dusted off the boots and had a boot camp match with Al Snow on Raw.
No. Until you said that, I had no idea that happened. Was that good?
It was better than the Triple H one, but the whole deal was,
There you go, Al. There you go, mate.
I guess, I can't. The feud somehow started. It was Slaughter against Head, and then Al Snow got involved, and so they had a boot camp match on. I might be completely off base with this. I think it's the Raw they ran at the Sky Dome.
Of course, naturally. Do we have?
No, I'm sorry. It was in Sacramento. I was thinking of something else. But anyway, yeah, Slots and Al Snow 6-minute boot camp match on Raw in 1998.
does Sarge deserve more love as a authority figure? I think he was fun in that role. Am I off base here? I thought he was a good fit for that role. Better than fucking Bill Watts would have been, I think, at that point.
Oh yeah, and people don't remember too. He was really part of the Stooges. He would help Patterson and Briscoe and McMahon. Like they would do his dirty work for him and whatnot. Yeah, he was fine as that. He got a Commissioner Slaughter bone cruncher, so
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Like, what's the fit? Just like the most boring old guy fit.
Oh
ever?
yeah, I remember it's got an index finger extended, so in your figure fed you can have Sarge reading someone the riot act.
That's tremendous. He does a few of these matches. Is there anything else you want to call out match wise before we get to Mania 17?
He does a bunch of. He comes up and shows up all the time, and he's always fun. He's always good every time he shows up.
And he kind of just looks the same, doesn't he?
During like the Ruthless Aggression era, especially when he shows up, he's always good.
Mm-hmm.
The match we're about to cover is right before the Ruthless Aggression era, as contrarian AI, as I like to call him, pointed out during the Invasion era. Here at this double MSG double shot at the beginning of 2002.
I told you I'd fired up that Attitude Era channel the Vault has going or whatever, and it was WrestleMania 18, and I was just disgusted. I'm like, this isn't the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Lads, we got big problems. All right. 2000, he wrestles Kurt Angle on SmackDown.
God bless.
2000, Heat. Sergeant Slaughter over Funaki.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby. I bet it's good.
The Fremont Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. My God.
Wow. This lineup for Heat at the fucking Fremont is amazing. Dean Malenko, Scotty 2 Hotty, Bossman Al Snow, Rikishi Tess, Slaughter Funaki, China Val Venus. That was Heat. So he does those, and then he does, of course, the Gimmick Battle Royal, the one that drew the house at Mania 17, that packed him in.
It's
Bob,
fun, goddammit.
What a fucking... Come on. It's not... I understand it's not good and all that, but God, it's awesome, innit? The Gimmick Battle Royal, Bobby. Come on, put it over for us. Alex and I are on the same team on this.
It is. I do enjoy it quite a bit. Like, it's fun. Like, there's so much other traditionally great stuff on that show that you need it. And it is a lot of fun. And, you see all your friends, and it's always cool. You get... Oh, shit. Is it lagging?
No, you said you see all your friends.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
You do, it got Hogan and Heenan back, kind of their last commentary with the WWF, so that's always cool. I like the Gimmick Battle Royal.
What is it, like fucking 3 minutes long? It's a hoot. It's a great time. The entrances are the attraction there, but hear more about that on the Criterion. I don't know how long we talked about it on the Criterion Collection, but we talked about it a little bit. I know that.
It's props, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of such, tomorrow, I'm not sure on the time yet. I need to lock that in still. But sometime tomorrow afternoon, early evening, episode 6 of the Criterion Collection. Wembley Stadium. We're getting in the mood for this weekend, right, Alex? Very exciting.
Yeah, and a show that I've seen it's been debated a lot recently on social media as we closed in on the 30th anniversary of it. But you and I certainly make its case for why its inclusion is worthy. And as far as historical ramifications, I mean, a decent amount came out of that show. So
yes, indeed, and maybe the funniest cover yet. So prepare yourselves. Very exciting tomorrow. So he does Mania 17, and then we get to our final match. God, this is fucking awesome. It is just outstanding. January 13th, 2002 edition of Heat, taped on the 8th. MSG, one last time. The Dudley Boyz. Grin, Grappler, Titans. Opposite Sarge and Perry Saturn. This is a one-night situation. They do a segment backstage in which Sarge confronts... I guess they confront him. And they have an incredible scene. It's the only word I can use is scene to describe it. Alex, if you can, talk us through... I mean, this is high drama backstage, and Sarge is in rare form, quite frankly. What did you make of this one? Before the match, the backstage business, to be clear.
Yeah. And real quick, the little tidbit I had of this, because I was looking at the timeline, and I was like, did they record this? The show Triple H came back, but it's a SmackDown stage. They did a double header. they did the 7th and the 8th at MSG. So they did the live Raw where Triple H came back, and then they recorded SmackDown on the 8th, which back in those days wasn't exactly commonplace. But yeah, backstage, the Dudleys come in, hilarious little visual. They're having Stacy carry all their bags, which I thought was really funny. And then they come across Slaughter, who's just minding his own business, and ask him where the dressing rooms are. And he's like, what am I, fucking greenhorn? What are you doing here? And then they have like this kind of polite exchange. But then the Dudleys say something snide, and as they walk away, he's like, "Yeah, you former champions." And then they come back, and there's a little more playful back and forth, and then those damn Dudleys beat the shit out of Sarge backstage.
When he says former champs, Bubba's like, "Why'd you have to say that, Sarge?" And Sarge just goes, "You're former champions." By the way, quick sidebar, 'cause you mentioned double shots. Have you been listening to these Major Pod retro uploads they've been doing? You got to listen to them. They're uploading these old Patreon exclusives that are fucking insane, and no one knows it's happening. They're putting them out there for free. On the most recent one, I didn't even know about this. In 2008, the business got to a point where they started doing double tapings of SmackDown. So they would do like 2 episodes in one go.
I remember this. I remember it.
If you were not on the house shows, like they were not on the house shows at this time, you were getting $500 a show,
Oh,
$1,000 to work for the WWF at that moment in time, in a month. Double shots, brother. It is insane. That was the way it was in 2008. Guys on the roster just going, well, that's my $1,000 for the month from the WWF.
Well, that's also during the recession too.
Yeah,
I don't know.
apparently there's a European tour. I'm sure, yeah. Apparently there's a European tour. At the end of it, Taker gives a speech like, "We need to buckle down, boys." Dude was back in the new gen. It fucking blew my mind. But anyway, those pods are crazy. Alex, you would love them. They're crazy.
yeah. A lot of people aren't aware of like how much stuff, even just on their main feed stuff, like little lines they'll have about current state of wrestling. There's one from the one last week where Ryder was talking about taking Chelsea to Disneyland, and he goes, "Unfortunately, Meltzer incorrectly said it was Disney World on the Observer," and Myers goes, "What a fucking asshole."
So, anyway, all of this to say that they do this match at MSG on Heat, and it's really fun. Sarge is, he's carrying a bit of weight, nothing wrong with that. He does get very excited and does a suplex and appears to, like, almost kill Devon Dudley.
Yeah.
And maybe shit his pants, I'm going to say that. Maybe. There was a level of desperation, anxiety on his face that alarmed me, but he made it through. Bubba at one point fucking levers him with a forearm.
Dude, yes.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? We'll work through this more in a second. Bobby, I'll start with you. What a way to close it out. We're going to do a Legend Sarge match. We get some Dudleys in here. What a beautiful occasion.
Yeah, again, like we had to put one of these on there just because he did so many of them in the next 6 years after this. This one's fun. It's not much. He gets the hot tag and, like you said, almost kills Devon. But, like, fun little DQ finish. You get the belt action going again. Kind of ties us back to some earlier matches we did. It's a fun time. People enjoyed it.
Taz, of course, hosting the Heat. He's one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions at this time. He and Spike.
Mm-hmm.
And, man, that is something. And so on commentary, like, in the backstage, Sarge, like, dismisses them as just losers, and Taz laughs. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway. Not gotten to. Not even a little bit. Oracle, what a way to close it out. A little C-show treat for us.
Oh yeah, this was super fun. I love Perry Saturn, like, pulling out his old Army Ranger hat and shit,
Mm-hmm.
coming out.
Very serious about it, too.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
serious.
Coming out there, fighting for his fellow veteran. And this is super fun, man. Contrary to popular belief, the Dudleys were good, and they're good here. And that Sarge suplex on Devon was something else, man. That was a struggle, but Sarge takes a big bump here. Fun hot tag. The finish is really fun. The Dudleys try to take his belt off and try to beat him up. Then he takes it and beats he like beats the fuck out of the Dudleys with it. At one point, hits Bubba in the face with the belt, which is awesome. And then of course, Stacy Keibler gets
Yeah.
You know,
My last note is, well,
you know.
Yeah. Different time and all that. The Dudleys just, man, they don't get enough credit for the way they could bump when they were young men, when they were fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Bubba's flying around for Sarge. He's a big fucker, you know.
They were really good during the them. Like my favorite Dudleys are actually as heels. I think they're
Yeah.
awesome as heels. I like them in ECW in 98, 99. I like them here from late 01 to early 02, and I like them in 04 on SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm with you. As baby faces, their formula was somewhat tiring, especially when you get in the later years. But
Yeah.
just to answer Rich's question about why he's teaming with Saturn. It's after the scene that Alex mentioned. There's another scene in which Saturn says that as a fellow veteran, he hates to see someone take advantage of old Sarge. So they're gonna put the boots on and go out there and battle him on heat, heat, which is funny.
It's actually pretty cool because like Sarge says something like, "Well, what are you gonna do about it?" And Saturn says, "I'm waiting on your order, Sarge."
It's honestly very cute, isn't it? The way it's done. It's good. Alex, this feels like the most dignified and honourable sixth match in the history of Grin Grappler. I mean, wow, what a treat.
Oh, absolutely. And you can tell the crowd had no idea. This is all but extinct now, but this was one of my favorite things about watching old wrestling when an old timer would come out. They cut to a guy in the crowd who stands up, and if I had to guess, he's maybe someone's like a little kid's dad who brought him to the show and remembers Sergeant Slaughter from back when he was his age. And he literally stands up, and the gentleman does like this with his fist, and then and then he like smiles, and then he salutes the stage when he sees Sarge coming out. I can only assume he turned to his son and was like, that was when I was your age. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. When Sarge gets tagged in, the first thing he goes to is the wind-up punch that we saw in the Iron Sheik match, where he dials it up. He hits a set of slams on the Dudleys, and to your point, the way they're moving, it's very impressive because Bubba goes up light as a feather for him, but Slots like holds him there, and the way he like hoofs him, you can tell Slaughter like the last thing to go is that old man strength, man. Like he just fucking throws Bubs across the ring. The thing you mentioned, Bubba charges across the ring. I think it's like cut off a tag or something, but just waffles Slaughter in the face with a forearm. It's fucking awesome. And Oracle called out, I'm pretty sure Slot's receipt was when he whipped Bubba in the face with the belt at the end of the match there. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's, I'm not going to say we uncover these matches every once in a while, but, we have a precedent for finding these little, steal your word, cute TV matches. And this is a very, very charming Sunday Night Heat affair that absolutely nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny, though, because it's a DQ, and you have to wonder if Slaughter's like, no yob, brother.
Yeah, you can't beat me at the Garden. Can't do it. Because of the other bit in this match, we're obliged to ask. Alex, if Sarge was in ECW, what matches would you have liked to see?
Oof. I mean, New Jack's the obvious answer.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
He could team with the Sandman. Who would they take on? I'm trying to think of what era we're talking
Great
about.
question.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you a timeline. He needs the money. He doesn't get the commissioner gig. It goes to Ernie Ladd. He goes to ECW as a 50-year-old man or whatever.
Oh.
What's he doing? Is he working Raven?
Oh, sweet Jesus. They'd probably do some comedy shit where they teamed him with Meanie. And Meanie comes out in the camouflage and shit.
Yeah.
No, yeah, there you go. Fuck that. Meanie, do like Meanie and Slaughter against fucking Little Guido and Tracy Smothers, like as a pay-per-view opener. And then you get Tommy Rich doing a run-in and the Slaughter like busts him open or some shit.
I mean, there you go. Settled. Beautifully done. All right. Thank you, Dominat. Right, I'm going to quickly just speed run through these matches because I just want to note the other matches he did of significance as an older man. He wrestled Test.
Yes.
On Raw. This feels like something you get to, Alex. It says no contest, so I'm worrying that it's not like a real, like they do like a jump start. So I'm worried a little bit. But
I think Test attacked him when he was entering because Test was the un-American, so I think he attacked him with the flag, and yeah, they did.
Son of a bitch.
He beat Stevie Richards on Heat in 2003. He then did 2 house shows in Florida on a loop, a weekend of house shows, in which he teamed with Sean O'Hare and Brian Kendrick to take on the FBI.
Hell yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
Find
Hell
the
yeah.
tape.
So there's the Guido spot we were just talking about. He
Holy
does
Grail.
some indies. He does some indies. He works with La Resistance, as was mentioned.
Oh yeah.
He is one of the legends killed by Randy Orton on a Raw Roulette episode.
Yep.
He comes back a year later and works with the other La Resistance with Rhino.
Yep.
Didn't we watch that Rhino match?
I think we did. Why, though? When would we have done that?
We did that for the Ruthless Aggression thing I did. In
That's what it was.
2024, 2025,
Yes. Yeah. And we didn't do Rhino Grin. Okay. So he worked with both incarnations of La Resistance. He works with, of course, Muhammad Hassan. That goes without saying.
Yep.
He wrestled King Kong Bundy on an indie in 04.
Wow.
The Honky Tonk Man, 05 indie. He does a house show loop with Chris Masters.
Mm-hmm.
That
Well, I
has
think
to
we
be
did,
the
like,
result.
Didn't we do a Master Lock Challenge segment on Raw,
Yes,
Bobby, or
we
something like
did.
that?
That has to be the result of the angle, yeah. Like, oh, fuck it, the angle's hot. Just looking here, this was the Warlord in 06 on a house show. He beats the soon-to-be Dolph Ziggler here in 06. Nikki, he beats in Kansas. And then...
A Survivor Series tag?
So, yes, because that's part of the build to the Survivor Series tag with Spirit Squad, which we almost did, boys, right? We almost did that. So, that stuff's kind of fun, right? That Legends versus Spirit Squad stuff. It's fun for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
He does a 30-man battle royal for the number 1 contendership. All right, I'm going to run down this entire lineup. Oracle lock-in. 2006 battle royal for the number 1 contendership on Raw. Edge, Carlito, Charlie Haas, Chris Masters, Eugene, Jeff Hardy, Jerry Lawler, Jim Duggan, Johnny Jeter, that is, Johnny Nitro, JTG, Kenny, Lance Cade, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Robbie McAllister, Rob Conway, Ron Simmons, Rory McAllister, Sergeant Slaughter, Shad, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin, Snitsky, Super Crazy, the Brooklyn Baller, Trevor Murdoch, Triple H, Val Venus, and of course, Viscera. How was he in this match, I wonder? Why not? I guess is the answer to that question, really. He was out very soon. Viscera eliminated him. Fuck. Here's a good one. All-time bad match. He and Snooker team up against Deuce and Domino.
Yeah.
An all-timer, mate.
We talked about that on the Rick Martel episode because Martel and Gurria do the run-in in that match, and that was the last time Martel was on WWF TV.
Well, this was not the last time that Sarge wrestled. He wrestled Randy Orton again in 2007.
That was when that was when they upped the ante. That's when he debuted. That's when he was doing the punt, and he brought back the Legend Killer stuff.
Oh, real quick. Speaking of all-time bad matches, he was the agent for Bradshaw and Trish against Chris Nowinski and Jackie Gata.
Oh, that's
wow. So he did serve after all. He's in the 15th anniversary Battle Royal with Ted DiBiase.
I do not find that funny.
Al Snow, Bart Gunn, Bob Backlund, Doink, Flash Funk, Gangrel,
yeah.
Gilberg, IRS, Neidhart, Pete Gas, Reaper Man, Scotty 2 Hotty, Skinner, Blackman, and The Goon.
I remember that because Blackman showed up still looking ready for another run, and everyone else just looked like an old vet.
In 08, he did an indie tag opposite Robbie E. Wrestled Kamala in 09 in Rocky Grove High School in Pennsylvania. He keeps going, man.
At
He
ease.
wrestled fucking Del Rio on Raw.
That's right. I remember that match actually.
And that ain't the last of it. He wrestled Jack Swagger in 2011.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're almost there. Okay. This is the final 2 WWE matches. Here we go. 6-man tag. Tuesday Night SmackDown, the Great American Bash. He teamed with Jim Duggan and Santino Marella to take on Camacho, Drew McIntyre, and Hunico.
God bless.
And finally, Oracle, this is no doubt something you'd have endorsed at some point on this platform. The US title match in 2012.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Who did he wrestle, Oracle?
He wrestled one Claudio Castagnoli at the time known, of course, as Antonio Cesaro.
He did on the New Year's Eve edition of Raw. Cesaro,
I
Sergeant
remember.
Slaughter.
Fun match.
There you go. What a insane extension to. That is legitimately like 20 years after the end of his run. You know? Just coming out and being Sarge. Of course, in more recent news, there was some controversy surrounding Sergeant Slaughter. Bob, as our resident veteran, do you have any comments at all on the allegations? Allegations, probably not a strong enough word. The confirmations of stolen valor. I want to give you a chance to speak on this, and that's very important to you, and then we'll move on briskly.
It's unfortunate that happened. But what are you gonna do? You become the gimmick sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Timely reporting.
Yep, thanks for that, Bob. Any other matches you want to call out here for Act 3? I mean, I just read about 10 of them, but any good ones we want to shout out this time? Not really, no.
We put over the gimmick battle royal.
Yeah, that works. I did want to ask, where is Sarge at in the... I like discussing this now, it intrigues me, because I'm not a big video game aficionado, but it intrigues me as a subject matter. Where is he at in terms of being a video game guy? Is he represented in that department? Do we know?
Less than you'd think. Like I said, he's in Here Comes the Pain. He's in Legends of WrestleMania. He's in All Stars. But like as far as the yearly games go, I think he's in like a couple of the 2Ks, and that's about it. Like he hasn't been in one in quite some time, which is surprising.
And is he one of those guys they only grab when they like need him for a mode?
I think so.
Yeah.
I will call out one of the things too that he did during his sabbatical from the WWF that was a point of consternation was he licensed his name for his own wrestling video game for the Commodore 64. It was Sergeant Slaughter's Mat Wars, and so there you go.
Okay, he hasn't been in the games for a decade.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And but he still gets figures, right? Because
well, I forget he's in the greatest wrestling arcade game of all time. He was in WrestleFest, but that was a big part of the release. They just did they released like a what do they call that? A mock cabinet like of the game, but he was removed from it along with the Legion of Doom. So it was, because they don't have their rights to put those guys in the game. But yeah, Slots was in WrestleFest, which anyone in my age range has spent countless quarters on, so props to him there.
I'm terribly sorry. I've got to go back to his match listings. I've just discovered that in 2012...
Did you see... Are you looking at what I'm looking at? He shared the ring with Biff Busick?
Yes. Yeah. Just seen it. In the Killer Kowalski Cup, he shared the ring with Biff Busick, which is just... I mean, what do we make of these things? I mean, just astounding, really. But nonetheless...
I do have one more thing.
Yes, please.
He was on the WWE float at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 2002, and here's a crew for you. Sergeant Slaughter, Triple H, Jerry Lawler, Jim Ross, Vince McMahon, and Jonathan Coachman.
Oh my God. Holy fuck. Wow.
It brings me great pleasure to unveil or to announce to the group, Commissioner Slaughter was a playable character in Attitude for the PlayStation and Nintendo 64 in 1999.
So, am I right in saying, Alex, that Sarge is one of the guys they've made those really cool Ultimates of that are like based on the LJN packaging? You know, those ones that have the really cool... He got one of those, right? So
he did.
Yeah, he's still a heavy hitter in the merchandise part. As Alex mentioned, Cardona and Myers have made like a handful of Sarges. They've made like heel Sarge, original babyface Sarge.
Yeah.
Real quick, let me show you one of the cooler ones he's gotten. Not really he got a classic superstars, and yeah, he's gotten a lot of the Coliseum collection is what they call them. But one of those companies that makes like the Grapplers and Gimmicks is the name of the line. They make like the mock Hasbro ones. Dude, check out this fucking 2-pack.
Okay. Bear with us, folks. The Oracle of Wrestling will return, hopefully. Hopefully.
Oh,
Sometimes
shit.
Bruce called. Oh my God. All right, hang on. I'll put this on the screen here. Folks, some of these independent toy companies are just, I mean, they're just outstanding. Look at this here. Share the screen. This is just, I mean, what a piece of business. Look at this. Just beautiful.
Hell yeah.
Look at Sarge's mustachio here on this deal. Outstanding. Wow. That is tremendous. Tremendous stuff. Okay. Much ground covered. Many years behind us. Let's try our absolute best, especially in Lord Oracle's absence, to put a bow on this subject matter. Bob, any final thoughts on Sergeant Slaughter, the legacy of, the career of, the memories? Any final thoughts?
I guess I shouldn't go the whole show without saying it, but I did meet him and take a picture with him at Access for
did?
WrestleMania 35.
Okay. Here it is, folks.
Hell yeah.
Nothing can prepare you for how funny this... You've just heard the words, right? You're doing the maths on it. What does it look like? It's funnier than you could ever imagine, because this is...
Dude.
So that we have to discuss, you made a decision here, Bob, that is so funny. I can't...
Yep.
Sarge is flaring his fist to show the ring. But I presume you didn't see the ring, so you just thought that was kind of like his pose?
Yeah, I thought we were just kind of doing that because he told me that I could be his tag team partner, so I was feeling really good.
Bob is just flaring just an empty, vacant fist here.
And that's also... So I didn't meet anyone that whole time, and I stopped in that line on my way out. It was Lacey Evans, Brutus Beefcake, and Slaughter was last, so I was really happy to finally see someone that I liked.
Wait, when was this?
35, so 2019.
Bro, isn't Lacey like barely on TV? Like she's brand
she's,
new.
like, about to be called up.
What was this? Why was this happening? Was this just part of Access?
Yeah.
Was it just like a separate thing? And Access was just like
so it used to be, there were like autograph lines, but then there were also like photo op lines and that one had no one in it. So I'm like, well, I came all the way here. I might as well get pictures with someone. And that's where we ended up.
That doesn't exist now, right? Like all the photo ops now are like fucking military operations, ironically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because what he's saying, I have a picture with Drew Gulak and Santino for that same type of scenario where, it's just like, hey, these people are here. That nowhere near as cool as that though. They're fucking doing the Freebirds together there. Dude.
Yeah, but it was a good experience.
It was fun. I waited in line to meet JBL and Ron Simmons, and then the line changed to like, I think it was like Kane, and I'm like, I'm just gonna not wait in this line anymore. I want to meet Kane. And then on the way out, they had that photo op one. So
I told the story elsewhere, and I can't remember who it was, but someone who was really over. It may have been Rusev, because Rusev was doing the Rusev Day thing. He had a queue for the meet and greet. Like you just mentioned, they switched him out. They switched him out to Tamina, bro.
Oh,
I remember hearing you just felt that like, oh fuck, everyone kind of going, we can't all leave at the same time. Very sad, but nonetheless, there is one time for the road. There is. Look at that. You do look really happy there.
Also,
yeah.
Strikes me as an excellent meet and greet guy, to be honest. Yeah,
he was cool.
Yeah. All right, Cal. Comment. All right? I'm just saying she wasn't strong on TV. Definitely. Yeah. Nonetheless, Cal immediately fact-checking me on the Lacey Evans call-up and the progression. There's no reason for it this hour. It's 4:45 a.m. All right. So, yeah, you were saying you met him. Any other thoughts?
Good wrestler. I'm glad we watched these matches that we did. I'm glad to have more than just the, early 2000s idea of him that I have. He was actually quite good.
Yeah. And you don't want to make any other comments about anything else, so I just want to give you the last
No.
time. Okay. Right.
No.
Very important to ask. Alex, final thoughts, mate. Any conclusion to Sergeant Slaughter, Grin, Grappler in your book?
Just that he's a better wrestler than I think a lot of people know.
Yeah.
And as we discussed extensively, sorry, voice is starting to go. As we've discussed extensively over the past 2 hours and 45 minutes, the reason for that is largely the way the WWE's history has written him. But a hell of a wrestler, obviously a hell of a commitment to his gimmick, and someone who I think honestly is up there in terms of like pop culture relevance of wrestlers from the 1980s, and someone who I really feel like that name, like people just know that name is like, be it G.I. Joe or wrestling or whatnot. I think his pop culture footprint is probably a bit bigger than is appreciated. But yeah, the matches we chose today, and for anyone listening to this or people who watched the lineup and maybe saw it for the first time, that makes me happy in the sense of showing a wider audience, No, this guy was a really fucking good wrestler. Insane bumper. A guy who was like the way he would sell moves and some of the bumps he took for his time were ahead of his time, quite frankly. But yeah, a very entertaining wrestler, and a big contributor to the landscape in the 1980s. And yeah, it better or worse, everyone knows the name Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. I think an iconic act and gimmick, but probably deserves, not probably, I think we confirmed it tonight, deserves more love as an actual bell-to-bell contributor and has some of the all-time great matches. I would be intrigued to dig deeper and see what he's like tier 2 and 3 is in terms of quality, because this kind of showed us he's very best in a lot of ways, right? And then obviously when he's older. But yeah, I think he's not underrated or forgotten as an act or a gimmick, but I think he is a little bit taken for granted as a pro wrestler. Mm-hmm. And I think, the timing's a big part of that. The kind of how great he was in a WWF that was less fashionable and glossy, right? I think is a big part of that. But I think it's also, for us, a big part of the appeal. Just back in time, Oracle, any closing thoughts on Sarge, mate? Take us home.
As I've said several times tonight, one of the all-time great wrestlers of the 80s, my personal top 10. The slew of classic matches he has, from the first 3 we covered, the cage with Backlund, the alley fight with Patterson, the boot camp with Sheik, Starcade in AWA, Final Conflict in Crockett, the JYD tag team against Sheik and Volkov, just on and on, just an absolute amazing pro wrestler as a heel and a babyface both. Had a fascinating career, ups and downs. Pretty amazing that he came out of the woodwork so many times for 20 years after he was basically 20 years after he was full-time, and he retired well into his 40s as a full-time wrestler. So absolutely awesome wrestler. Genuine, legitimate star with the G.I. Joe stuff.
Yeah.
Someone who is still to this day unheralded and underrated to a big degree, I think, overall. I think, there's some niche sections of wrestling fandom that have been introduced to his greatness, right? But a lot of people still have yet to see that greatness, and hopefully this show shines enough light on him to where people go and look back on someone who was, and I'll say it for a 4th time, one of the 10 best wrestlers of the 80s, Sergeant Slaughter.
Yep, I hope they did have that takeaway, but I would prefer they spend their night, head on the pillow, just go in. Who could he have wrestled on Nitro? Would him and Eddie, could they have had a good match? That's the start. Again, you can do both, right? Preferably. Yep, very, very fun. Glad we got to do this. Weird to do 2 grapplers this close to each other, I must say. It's been distressing, but we've got through it. We had a good time. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like the stream if you haven't already. It's time to look ahead to September. We're back on track. We're back in schedule. Boys, I got to say, this is a fucking bonkers collection of wrestlers I'm about to... I don't think any of these are like slam dunks in terms of you're going to go, that's a natural. But I like all of them as weird, quirky episodes. Here we go, September. You got 6 options, boys. Get ready. We could stay with an 80s great who became a little bit of a parody himself in the public eye. Greg the Hammer Valentine is available for the Grappler.
Boy.
We could watch someone who came up as a potential Sarge opponent in EC Dub, and I think would give us a real adventure. Raven.
Oh.
We have a little bit of a deep cut. It's a little bit of a low-key one, but I wanted to throw him some love because he got shout out on Dynamite, and he's someone I think's a legitimately underrated wrestler. Great Britain's own, Doug Williams. I think could be a fun episode. We like to show love to guys of that ilk, right? One of the all-time greats in terms of changing the perception of US women's wrestling, Awesome Kong. Worry about the longevity, but there could be some really cool stuff in there. One that I popped myself with because I'm not sure he's ever going to wrestle again, and he's now a very famous television star. the monster of men, Braun Strowman. And finally, so you go even more current for our final candidate here, an Oracle favorite that's currently in AEW that a lot of us are not familiar with his early stuff, Roosh.
Oh, baby.
So I want to stress again, Greg Valentine, Raven, Doug Williams, Awesome Kong, Braun Strowman, and Roosh. Bob, as always, I go to you first. What say you?
Well, Braun's one of my favorites, obviously. Oh man, that is tough. I think Awesome Kong would be fun just because we haven't had a woman this year yet. I don't think.
Yeah.
That'd be good to do. We like to try and be diverse around here. Yeah, I'd probably pick Awesome Kong. I mean, having started watching ECW from 1995, Raven I like more than I did probably a year ago. So he's an option. Don't really have any strong feelings about Doug Williams. Roosh would be fun and kind of different from what we usually do.
Right.
And had a ton of, Awesome Kong or Roosh, but I mean, Raven's a good option as well.
I do feel we're due a slightly more modern name, which I think does kind of put Kong in the box seat. But there's some good options here. Alex, what do you reckon? Where you leaning?
Yeah, that's a hell of a lineup there. I mean, Doug Williams would be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably any of those I'd be happy with. Greg Valentine would be great, but we also just did slots, and I think Awesome Kong, we could whip up some good stuff. I mean, we're gonna get a good lineup no matter who we do, but yeah, Roosh, I know virtually nothing about, so that would be fun for me. Yeah, I guess I'm not feeling particularly strong either way. Oracle, you
I'm
have any
not
strong
either.
feelings?
Yeah, what do you reckon, Oracle?
So, I think Greg Valentine has a discussion, an argument to be the best wrestler of the '80s in the entire world. I think he's that good. What hurts him is he's in the same era as Sarge,
Right.
the height of his career, and I think doing those back to back,
Right.
as I chew on my Snickers here, sorry,
You good?
and somehow avoided a fucking monsoon outside within 5 minutes, which is a miracle because I had no idea that was coming. Anyways, what hurts Valentine is of course he would come right after Sarge, and I think he's the best wrestler of all those guys easily, but he's someone that I think we're probably gonna have to put to the side for now, just because of that.
Yeah.
The three best candidates, Braun pops me because it's Braun, but I don't really want to do a Braun Grappler. The three best candidates to me are Roosh, which I think would be my number one choice. Raven, who I think we could do a really interesting one. We'd have to be pretty selective. And part one and part three. Part two, I mean, WCW, brother. WCW Raven's my jam. But of course, we've already done the Goldberg match with Goldberg. But still, we do the Saturn match, which is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah.
So there's stuff there, and then three would be why am I forgetting this person?
Is it Kong?
No, what's the other one?
Roosh?
Roosh
No.
was his one.
Oh, okay.
There's
Doug.
yes, Doug Williams, which I think is he's like a really underrated worker, and there'd probably be stuff that I haven't even seen from him that we could do. Those would be my top three.
We're in a pickle here, boys.
Roosh, Raven, and then Doug Williams.
We're in a bit of a pickle here. We're very split across the panel, I feel. My worry with Kong would be the eras.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I don't remember her stuff when she went back being very good. But if we don't do that, then what else would we'd just be doing like 3-4 years, right? I have to be honest with you guys. I do think the Braun Strowman episode would be fucking hilarious. At one point, he had a run where they actually would do it would make a sound like he was a train. I kind of think Roosh is the right answer here. My only concern with Roosh is fuckers like that are never done, and he absolutely has. Something will happen in his career that's going to extend his lifespan as a grappler. There's no way he just does this the rest of the time. He's going to have some sort of ill-fated fucking jump to SmackDown or something. Like, guys like that, they just can't, they just can't. And I do fear we'd be leaving a little on the table. Like, maybe I'm wrong. He may just be a guy who gets paid by AEW and is in the middle for the rest of his life. But I don't know, man. Guys like that are built different. He's going to do some kind of emergency fucking run elsewhere, I feel. I think we should do Braun Strowman. Right, let's all look in final votes now and see if we have any fucking... I'm going to go Braun Strowman. Bob, your final vote was?
Yeah, I'll go with Braun too. It'll be fun.
Okay. Oracle's got Roosh. Alex, your final vote.
I think the house is going to win majority on this one, because even if I said Doug Williams, it's still 2 wins out. I think we could put together something for Braun. That'd be all right.
We can do the wacky TLC match with Kurt Angle.
I do think we are due at something a bit light, I'm looking here, it's very nice to shine light on that.
I mean, there's stuff there.
Oh no, there's definitely stuff we can do. I just feel it's good to mix it up in terms of tone.
Title match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could do a team Little Big.
The earnest. This guy's
tag. I mean, I'm thinking. Stuff's jumping.
There's something be said for
Shane
the
McMahon.
earnest. This guy's underrated. Let's celebrate him. But sometimes you need to just have a little bit of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I think Braun Strowman can have some fun. I think Roosh is going to be I think 2 years I'd be more comfortable calling it on Roosh.
So we're gonna be doing the man who's also known as the Titan, the Monster Among Men, the Black Sheep, and the Monster of all monsters.
Oh, does this mean we can do the Wyatt family versus Team ECW?
Do whatever you want, mate.
Match on Philly on Raw.
That's the beauty of it. It's a free pass. We can do whatever we want. We could. I don't mind. We could. One of the matches we just don't do a match. We do an episode of his TV show. I don't give a fuck. Episode 4 of,
there you go. Control your narrative match. Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah, well, I draw the line there. See, genuinely, here's my systematic look at this, right? Greg Valentine we're probably going to do next year. We felt like era-wise we're due a mix-up. My concern with Raven is I don't know what we would add to the conversation about Raven, because he actually is very much discussed in terms of among his peers. He's one of the more discussed guys of his entire era, right? Doug Williams is legitimately underrated, and we all like that idea. Kong worried about the eras. Roosh, I want to give it a bit of time. So to me, it's legitimately between Doug Williams and Braun Strowman, which is a hilarious sentence I just said, but fuck it, man. Grin Grappler in it. Let's just do some Braun Strowman. We all happy with that? We content with that? Oracle, are you okay with that? Because I know you were hesitant. Are you okay with that?
Oh yeah, we're good with it, dude. I'm already thinking these matches. Like we got to do one of these. We got to do some of these wacky matches, man.
Just a bit of a reset. A double grappler month. It's been strenuous.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take it home, boys. Good shit. Braun Strowman up next. In about a month's time. Bob O'Neill, do you have any plugs?
I do. Late Night Grand 5th birthday show tomorrow at 8 Eastern, I believe we're starting. Join us. It'll be fun. A lot planned. A lot of big surprises. It'll be good.
Everyone keeps promising surprises. There ain't none. There'll be some familiar faces, but they're nothing crazy. But it will be fun. I do agree with you on that. It'll be very, very fun. I probably will be on for honestly around 4 hours. It's going to be a long show. So, because there's going to be people coming in and out and different eras of the Grin represented, including maybe this panel here will get a little bit of love on that show too. We'll see. We'll let it play out. Alex, tell the people about the Contrarians. What is the latest with the Contrarians? What are we up to on that front?
We just concluded our summer journey, bedroom to box office, in which we discussed the attempts of stars from the pornographic industry to cross over into mainstream filmmaking. The last one ended in a bit of a different way. The Other Side of the Wind, the lost Orson Welles film. Orson Welles, a cinematographer, was a gentleman by the name of Gary Graver, who back in the old days of Hollywood in the 70s and such, when work dried up on Main Street, you had to go and, maybe shoot a few pornos or edit some porno films to make ends meet. And Gary Graver had a prolific career as a director and editor of pornography. Moreover, one of my best friends' name is Adam Graver, who is Gary's nephew, and we included an interview with him about his uncle and, growing up around Hollywood and stuff in that. So that was a really fun little piece of business we did. Before that, Inherent Vice, the P.T. Anderson film, and also recently covered Sin Nombre, which is a really fucking intense drama. So wearethecontrarians.com, at Contrarian Prime across all social media feeds. Keep an eye out for that. Stay tuned. Lock in tomorrow for episode 6 of Wrestling's Criterion Collection as we go back to Wembley in a timely fashion, given the setting of the weekend. And then, Grin Grappler 5th anniversary tomorrow. Check it out. Be there.
Yes, should be very, very fun. I do want to shout out our guy Matt, who does the bingo. He sent me the new categories. So I just want to quickly read these because these are always fun as we realize how predictable we are. The new categories were: Alex mentions Shane, Douglas or McMahon, Weekly Bob Zerver. We definitely got some Bob Zerver in there. Dave pops the Boyz. We got that too. Old baby, quote unquote. Hudson brings up a wrestling video game. Hudson chat. There you go. One of the Boyz doesn't like a match. Did we do that match already? Story about a famous rib. Discussion of backstage reputation. They imply Bob is a Republican. We didn't do that last one. I did imply you're a veteran, though.
You did.
Yeah. Which I think is true. Some of those Grin Grappler post shows are really long. Oracle, do you have any plugs yourself, mate? You're going to be there tomorrow with us, right?
I will be there tomorrow. It will be exciting. It will be fun. There will be surprises. I don't know. Really, what we're doing is we're trying to get people to come and hang out with us. So we're just going to say there's surprises. So just pretend that there are.
Yeah.
But we're gonna have a great time tomorrow with the 5th anniversary show. Of course, I'll be back next month for Grin Grappler, Braun Strowman. Also next month we have Donnie and I will be doing part 2 of the Christian in WWE ECW as part of our long project of the basically, I guess we called it WWE PG era gyms, C-Show gyms, CMB show gyms.
Yes, sir.
So we're going to do probably 8 more matches with Christian sometime in September, Donnie and I. So join us for that.
I've just realized, Braun has that whole old fuck era where he's they wheel him out to put over Bron Reed and Jacob.
Yeah.
He really speed run this career. This is actually going to be very easy to formulate in terms of the acts, which is even funnier to me. But we'll be dealing with all that next month. Folks, tomorrow, yes, our 5th birthday party. Please be there for that. But also, stay tuned on a start time. Criterion number 6. All in London, brother. Let's talk about security footage and fist fights, all that good stuff. And some wrestling matches along the way. All right.
Fist fights?
Well, pushing and pulling and all that. Just pushing, actually. There was a guillotine, I think, from what I understand.
Sucker shoved him.
Sucker shoved.
Sucker shoved.
Yeah. Glass. Real glass, all that good stuff. So lock in. Big day tomorrow. We hope to see you there. And also on Sunday, the guys are going to be doing All In. Grin along. I will not be there because I'll be on the show. But nonetheless, have a great Thursday evening. Keep grinning. All hail. Enjoy this outro. Goodbye.
That's an order.